Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. In your madika, yabika kokwanam no wow. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo. Manemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. Just sing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. When I sing along, holy, 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 is another Savior. Getting moving right and getting moving faster now. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, holy, getting moving right and moving faster. Never freedom. Is another Savior. Never freedom. Holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. In your madika, yabika kokwanam no wow. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo.
Oh, all right. One lady, I always end that song. Now, good morning anywhere when they listen to me from, or good afternoon anywhere you are. Could be good day or good night. Welcome to another episode of One Man, One Tomorrow. anywhere you are listening to me from. Grab yourself a coffee, a tea, glass of wine, bottle of beer, a glass of whiskey, whatever you are into. And let's enjoy the next 3 hours of talking nothing but the country we love so much, called Nigeria. Our president, as we all know, we talked about it here before, is heart of the country, They London for medical checkup, but at the same time, he decided to, say hi to the new crown king, I should say, 73 years old, and they had a adult chat. We are in a house for London. Baba say, nah, I'm a very simple man. I came to this world with nothing, and I think I'm more comfortable living with nothing. So there's a lot of meaning to read to what Buhari respond to the king about if he has a house in London. Baba say get. Is that a shot at the king? And as we all know, there and I think everywhere. Or could it be just a call to the Nigerian incoming, the contestants, our presidential candidates? Is that a call for we Nigerians to actually evaluate who we want to vote for? Right here we have a man who all his life has been in at the cream of the government. He's been at the top twice. Been a president, led the nation twice. In total, like more than 10 years. That's very few of them can say that, and maybe only him. I don't know how long. I can't actually remember how many how many years Obasanjo stayed as a military man before he handed over to the democracy then. So only a few of them can actually say, I run the country, 10 years put together. So he's been up there all his life. He's been a leader since his 20s. So for him to be saying this at a time when it's like a competition to own homes, houses, property all over the world, it's like an intent. It's like it's a bragging right. And he said nothing. So I think that's one thing we should look at. And Petroleum, another is it? And this is another thing. I think they are tired of the crime. Don't they? Due respect to people who are sitting there and out there, I think it's like we are gradually done fun. We are not holding them to that again. Talking about getting into the economy, their policy and all that. But no, they say let's talk about subsidy. They won't use subsidy again as markets. That's one thing they want to sell to us. I'll bring out subsidy. I'll change subsidy, whatever form they want to. And I think Mr. Is it Eddie? Eddie was telling us about this video we should go and watch about the NNPC boss spilling some teas. So I think the man said the petrol will cost 410 naira with subsidy. So I don't know where we are headed. I am happy with Wiki. My head did not win. So Konkoso, as we all know, it's been done. We don't to accuse us in only northern candidates, but I desire to say politics is a marathon. The election is a marathon process, no be sprint. So it's been in the southeast for the past couple of days, and they talk. So we'll dive into his race too. Yeah, that's and many things we'll talk about today. But first, let me say thank you to anybody that will join me today on the screen to talk about this, and those on the comment section. Thank you. If you are in your house, cooking, whatever you are doing, driving, the office. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go. So yes, Desmond, Mr. Des, thank you for supporting the platform via Cash App yesterday. Saw that. And the coffee section is still very much there, still one of the easiest way to support the platform. And those who have used it will testify to that. It sounds like a pastor. How easy it is, and can buy more than one to support the platform. Thank you in advance. Let's see. I thought I was going to have a solo ride today, but one and only Oba. No, not be Oba. I don't give us a little Oba. Nah. Otumba 1.
Otumba to Kwakwato.
Otumba. Which state you come from, sir? What state are you from?
I've been from Ogun State now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From Ogun
State.
State.
Jebode abi Abeokuta or abi Shagamu.
Nah, the last one you mentioned, Nigeria come from.
Shagamu. Okay. I always, I don't know, say you come from Texas, Tennessee. So that always come to mind. How many house? Yeah, how many house you get for America, Lagos?
I know trust now. I know trust now. I know people talk I know trust now. Because maybe for future, I want to talk, see, I want to be president. I go carry everything out. All this thing where that they carry out against Tinubu, I go say, oh, see the thing where he talk, oh, you go play this video. You go say, see the thing where do. No, I know they talk, oh.
So you get houses everywhere, like Peter Obi, like Atiku, like Tinubu. See,
because
president, Buhari don't get anything.
Buhari no get shishi.
Yes, now what's it tell? They go visit King Charles.
You know, say Nigerian people, they be easy people to lie to. They believe lie well. Now when you lie, okay, wait. When you lie to Nigeria, it is sweet them well. It is sweet us. It is sweet us. But if they lie to them, they go they sweet them. As if they sweet them, they lie. They go. If you they lie to them, they sweet them. That's all Nigerian people. Now when you lie. Now in Nigerian people, they lie. Particularly all these youth where they lie people, where they lie, where they talk the truth. No, you know, the correct person.
But
Nigerians liars.
Wait, you don't believe Buhari say he no get house for London, no get house for America.
Lie, that man they talk. You won't believe that man.
The man will people will know how. People will know how say get 2 houses, one for village and one for Kaduna where they stay. And those houses don't get those houses long before. Those are the first houses when you don't ever get. Now those houses since they live.
You know, say now that man now he bankrupt Nigerian National Oil Corporation before they change the name to NNPC.
When they under Petroleum Trust Fund PTF.
Now, so you carry money for PTF. That one now before PTF, he get money for PTF. Then he get issue for there. Wahala they there. That if now Obasanjo now he save and when Obasanjo came in, people will say they get book where they won't open for this man. So this man don't enter government again now. NNPC won't bankrupt. And this man go they talk say you don't get money. Hi.
No, but no, I don't go. You know, Thursday he no get money. He just say he no get houses everywhere. No, even his opponents, even PDP guys, PDP, they actually they talk and say yes. Now the houses where they know the man they live all these years. Nice day. You know, get house for anywhere else.
Make I tell
I
you.
know they say I the believer, but this is exactly. Let me read what he said. What happened when he go visit Charles, the king. President Mallam Buhari on Wednesday told His Royal Majesty King Charles III that he has no house in the United Kingdom, stating that he feels freer when he has nothing. I mean, I think I can relate to him. You don't get anything everywhere. You live freely anyway. Report that the president met with King Charles King in Buckingham Palace on Wednesday to foster Nigeria bilateral relations with the United Kingdom. In an interview after meeting the 93 years old monarch, Buhari said King Charles III asked him whether he has a house in the UK. Responding, the president said he has not acquired any house since he assumed office in 2015. According to the president, he, the king, uh, he, the King Charles, asked me whether I have a house in the United Kingdom. I said no. I live in Nigeria alone. The only house I've had, the only house I've had, the only house I have had those houses before I got into government. I am not very much interested in having houses all over the place. I feel much freer when I have nothing. I mean, Ajanegoko, it makes sense.
Ovie, the question where we go ask that man be say all in speaking them, all of them went to higher institution in Great Britain.
Okay.
Now where then they stay, where he get money first, where he first tell them go that place, go school for
No,
Great Britain.
Ajanegoko,
Then secondly, now
no talk
where
say poor
hold
man.
on now. Now where all in Peking they stay, where then they that school for that place. And then
The campus. There's a got dumb dormitories.
okay, I don't hear you. So that one now, and if you as you are reading that statement, as you are reading that thing, I took note of a particular statement there, which he mentioned, I have not bought any
Yes,
house
since he entered government.
since I entered government into.
Yeah.
So that is telling us that this man he got house before he entered government.
Yes,
Now since he
no.
entered government, now he they talk say I never buy house since I entered government for Britain you know. I mean not be so.
Ajanegoko, he gets two houses now. One for a village, one for Kaduna. He get those houses.
No. Oh, okay. Oh, well, maybe look. You see, make I tell you, Buhari then the can Nigeria with them the kind system where they grew up in the kind Nigeria where they grew up in is different from Nigeria of today. Nigeria of today is a very corrupt, rascal, irrational way of doing things. Simple. But then before those days, as now from old school, old school mentality, old school kind of old school ideology. Now if you say you go to chop, you go to clean your mouth. People not go see say you dey chop. So that man smart well. As they chop money, they live life, say money they in hand. They live a extravagant life. They brag. They do all this shenanigans where you see all this new generation politician and leadership they do. So now you make they talk like this. But for him to they talk, say he not get house for London. I don't know. But Ovie, let's look at let's look at what could have prompted that man to ask that question in the first place. Has that man had something?
That's a good one.
Is it privy to some information that there's of concern to him for him to ask that question? You getting my reasoning there, right?
Yeah, but
why must he ask that question from him? Why must he ask that question? That man must have got some information that this man don't buy house finish. He don't buy house finish. All the best of the best houses, he don't buy all those house finish for London. So that's why.
Or maybe you don't hear most of our presidential candidates don't get many property for London.
For London. So that man have some reason why he was asking him that question. He couldn't just ask just for asking sake. There's some information he have at hand, and he wanted to confirm certain things from him, and that's why he threw that question to him. So, look, we can no longer allow some of these criminal politicians that place themselves in the position of leadership to continue to deceive us. I mean, why must Charles be asking him that question? If not for some reasons. Have you been a liar to talk now?
No, that's a good observation. Why he asks? Like, I don't think he just asks for asking sake.
No, he not ask for asking sake. He got reason for asking him, and he wanted to confirm. And now, do you know that he has shot himself in the foot, as he said he doesn't have, if they can't discover later, say he get houses. Say he don't destroy his reputation for life. What be that? If we say we have press, we be saying a press, as this man don't throw this information out, our press supposed to jump out there. Go they search, go they take notes, they sniff ground everywhere. Come bring something to counter him.
Say our media go always wait, especially the social media put their one or two together, bring us our kind info, then go jump on them. So give them 2 days. Don't write them out yet. Give them 2 days.
That's true. You talk.
They will start sniffing around.
But for me, I not be Mugun. I not believe that one. I not believe that man say get house for London. If he talk that one, that statement where he mentioned there,
yeah. Now one wife he get to surprise. Aren't you surprised? Like a man who has this power, who has been in and out of power, around power for all his adult life. He has only one wife.
He got one wife before now.
As a Fulani man, as a Muslim for that matter too. That's to tell you a lot about that kind of person. Say maybe
no. Buhari have some attributes of a disciplinarian in him that we can see. The way his character. I mean, his when he was a young officer, when he was the military head of state, you can see some kind of disciplined character in him. But at the same time, he's corrupt. At the same time, he's a tribal man. So he is. Look, this man when he was military head of state, what happened? I can't remember. I think we had this problem with maybe 26 suitcases. I think it changed currency then. I can't remember what really happened back then, but there's something that they said everything that comes in must be charged and stuff like that. Through the airport, there must be preference to anybody, whether you are a big man or this thing, everything you are bringing into the country, everybody must be charged. I can't remember the scenario, maybe as a result of, maybe because of his war against drug and something like that. So, but he allowed 23 suitcases of his, maybe his nephew, his nephew that was a Maya, maybe a Maya of Daira or Gusau or something like that. That one brought in about 23 suitcases that said it contained some hard currency, maybe dollars or something like that, but was not such. Atiku was the head of custom then. Atiku insisted that he's going to search it. Then order came from above not to search. And he said he's going to search because there was a circular to that effect, that there shouldn't be any, preferential treatment to anybody, whoever, whether it's a king or anybody or billionaire. I'm not sure if you have billionaire at that time. You didn't have any billionaire. Billionaire we have. So, but maybe because of that, as a result of that, I think Atiku was directed maybe to resign because he decided that he was not going to let that thing go. He will search it in accordance to the circular and directive that have been given to them. So this man is not a man that you can fully trust. He can pretend, he can act as a trustworthy, as a good person, and he know how to talk in a soft and gentle and calm. He's a very calm man. And it doesn't leave extravagance. All this will let you see him that, he doesn't look like a corrupt person. But, man, he's a corrupt man. He can't tell me that he doesn't have houses. He doesn't have house or houses in London. So for King Charles to ask him that question, King Charles was trying to confirm, some information he have at hand. And this man have answered it that he doesn't have, which I believe is contrary to what King Charles have at hand. So he will, I think something will come up against him, possibly after leaving office. It might not happen now, but when this man left office, a lot of things will be brought out against him. Corrupt charges, human rights abuses with impunity, and all these things. This man will surely have some criminal cases filed against him at International Criminal Court of Justice. It's a matter of time. Ovie. It's still their power now. They have a way of covering up themselves when they are in power, but let them leave power, and then you will see what is going to happen. Particularly this one that have dragged Nigeria down, brought everybody to the kneel. Everything is going down the hole. So Nigeria will not forgive this man. They will bring up a lot of things against him, except if Tinubu wins. Even if Tinubu wins, our people will not rest to, splash and, do whatever they can do to, bring up something against this man. So, but I don't believe him that he doesn't have any house in London.
Okay. Let's go to, I think if Eid will jump on this. The NNPC, Group Executive Officer of NNPC Limited now, I've been launching that too. Malay Mele Kerry. I hope I pronounce that Fulani name right.
Yeah, you where you be Fulani, no people pronounce Fulani name. You where you sleep for Fulani God. No, they eat them food. They do everything.
Now the Malay said right up, Malay carry.
Yeah.
I said that petrol will cost 410 naira in the country if subsidy is removed. Speaking at the Legislative Transparency and Accountability Summit organized by the House of Representatives in Abuja on Wednesday, November 9th, Kyari also noted that there's nowhere in the world today that you can land a liter of PMS, that is petroleum, to the pump at the 444 naira exchange rate. Is that the exchange rate now? 444 naira. Is that now the
Well,
real?
the naira is falling quite heavily over here. If anybody, just a recommendation to any and everybody, if you want to be buying naira heavily now, because within the next 2 weeks it's going to fall quite sharply. But over here, I want to play a video clip to that space that you're speaking to. It's in Yoruba. So I'll play it and then this is the oil prices that you're talking about. I'll play it and then I'll interpret it and then hand back to you. But over here, watch this.
One man.
Ebi ọmọ yan tó jẹ́ pọ̀ ọ̀gá ọ but èmi ni pé kí n fi gbogbo ìrìn àjò ilé ayé mi kí n fi jà fún kọ́ńtì but tó bá ti sọ pé wọn ò gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ kí gbogbo aká pín wọ́n fi iṣẹ́ òun lẹ̀ fún wọn ṣẹlẹ̀ tó kàn mí tó ti rí àwọn mọ́tò tí mo mú lélẹ̀ gbogbo wọn pátápátá mo dá wọn dúró wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń pè mí lọ́hùn pé èmi pé wọ́n á fojú mi rí èèmọ̀ pé ọ̀gá ti ń pè mí mo ní kò ṣẹlẹ̀ tó kàn mí máa fi iṣẹ́ òun lẹ̀ fún wọn mo ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ certificate tó yẹ kó mo lè fi iṣẹ́ láàbúrò mo lè fi iṣẹ́ anywhere see that ẹ bàlújẹ́ let's wait and see ó ní kọ̀ǹtólà ń pè ta ni èmi ẹ̀ ní soríire láyé kí Tinubu máa gbọ́ kó wo gbogbo bó ṣe ń bọ́ wọn fìyà jẹ gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ó ti rí wọn ibà mo wà mo ti ṣe 11 years níbà wọn ò gbé mi síbi kan tó darí mi ò sí sẹ́ńtẹ́tà mi ò sí ní Àpápá mi ò sí ní sẹ̀mẹ́bọ́dà èmi máa ń defend the country ẹ wò ó torí pé mo kọ pé kó má gbé epo lọ sí another country tí mo dẹ̀ wà ní anti-country so màá wá di probọ́ǹkì tí ò lè ṣe láyé ẹ sọ tẹlu gbogbo wọn pátápátá wọn ní kọ̀ǹtólà ń pè kọ̀ǹtólà kò ti da fún kọ̀ǹtólà tó fẹ́ máa jí owó àbí tó fẹ́ máa jí epo tí wọ́n fún mi 100 naira nù ẹ̀ and I put my job online I'm a diligent Yorùbá man tẹ́tí rí wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn mọ́tò yìí wọ́n fẹ́ jí epo lọ sí Cameroon ni tẹ́tí rí wọn wọ́n fẹ́ jí epo lọ sí Cameroon ni so tí rí wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ so tó bá pa mí if they kill me, you people have to understand that this is the conspiracy from the pit of hell. Are we one? No. You have to look at it. Thank you. Facebook straight. Post it online. I'll put it online.
So over here, what you saw there is a custom officer, a Yoruba custom officer. I think he said the region where he was, but it's somewhere in Yoruba land. I can't quite recall where he said he was.
Iba, right?
Iba. He said it was in Iba.
Yeah, so
what you saw there was him intercepting a fleet of petrol tanks packed to the brim with petroleum product, heavily subsidized, of course, on the way to Cameroon. So he has intercepted them and held them on arrest. But now he's now under pressure. The controller of that space is chasing him heavily to ask him why he stopped that convoy of a fleet of petrol-filled tankers from making their way to Cameroon as they were. So if you are talking about oil subsidy and the price of petrol, what we're subsidizing in Nigeria is not the consumption of Nigerian petrol, is the consumption of petrol in Cameroon, Niger Republic, and other spaces like that. So they take this heavily subsidized petrol to those countries, and then they put a markup that is still heavily subsidized, and then they turn over the money by like 10x, and that has been the round tripping within that petroleum space. So we're not subsidizing petrol for the Nigerian space, no. As you can see, evidentially from what that guy just presented, we're subsidizing petrol for the West African sub-region. So I just wanted to infuse that. Back to you, Ovie.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to what the minister was talking about. It is not possible for you to buy fuel at 170 when your actual cost price is thrice that value. For instance, today when PMS comes into the country, we transfer to marketers at the rate of 113 naira per liter for us to ensure 165 naira per liter at the pump price. So you must sell at 113 to them to be able to deliver at 165. I don't know how much be anybody have idea how much is fuel now for Nigeria?
How much they sell waiting?
Fuel.
I beg me, I don't know.
See, that means whatever it costs, anything after that value, that is subsidies. Somebody has to pay for it. Everyone know the price of PMS around the world. There's nowhere today that you can land a liter of PMS to the pump at the rate of 445 naira. But my question is that the exchange rate? Now dollar, how much be dollar be that? 445. Is that the central bank rate?
That's the central bank rate OPA.
God damn. And then they double out.
Like criminal country, criminal enterprise they run for that country. This thing got to stop. It's just it's nonsense where some people are just going there, buying it and go and be selling it. I mean, are we going to continue like this? I don't know.
And of course, when they jack up the price, they always they get it for that official rate, but when they mark up the price to sell, they will tell you that it's because of inflation. So they will mark inflation as a factor in jacking up the price, but they will make the money off of the official rate. So they're pretty much doubling their income, their gains. If you look at the currency, the black rate value and against the official value. So it's a criminal enterprise pretty much.
That's like double, more than double save. I know that 2 days ago now, like 800. They changed for me. 800 bucks for $1. And now 445. Man.
Look, that one, they said people never see when. Once they remove that petroleum subsidy, everything goes scatter now.
Good morning. That's the reason. Remember, that's why I asked, because when I say this thing, it sounds redundant. I said, when will Nigerians reach rock bottom? When they will say enough is enough? Because at some point, you have to get to the point where you say enough is enough and you fight back, right? There has to be a point where you get tired of this nonsense.
Yeah, but I still believe we are far from there. We will get there, but I think we are still far. We need like two more regime to get there.
Okay. God bless you.
Like the next one got to be worse than Buhari, and then after that one, the one after that had to be worse than the one after Buhari.
So you know what? Right now.
People see they marry like two wives, about they marry 6 wives. People they flex. I mean, forget. People see they groove steady. Forget all these things where they happen. Midst of all this.
Maybe we talk serious. This one where you play.
I'm serious.
No, you are not. No, you take this matter. They take this matter. They play.
Forget the 2 wives or the other. People, yes, in midst of all this nonsense where they happen, people see they flex.
But when it's enough is
that's what I'm saying. Majority has to get to majority are feeling that worst. That to me, when I'm waiting at the feel that maybe when we get to the majority of Nigeria naturally feeling.
They're already feeling worse now. What can be worse than what is going on right now? That's majority already feeling the pain. So I don't understand why you're not having that resistance at this point. That's what I don't really get. So if you say majority, we have to experience pain. They are already experiencing pain.
And I know why they talk like that, because if Nigerian they actually feel out, they know just they watch, maybe the politicians they throw with dollars, thousands of dollars in the name of buying delegates, and it's okay, it's cool.
It be like say, Ovie, you don't know how powerful these politicians are. These politicians have cornered everything, every power that drive the existence of that country. And what I mean by power, when you're talking of who is who across the country are under their control. It's either you jump in line with them or they will crush you. You don't join in line with them, you will be crushed.
Yeah.
So, and they have weaponized poverty in such a way that everybody are looking up to them. Look, if as we day like this, 4 of us, all of us, they say, we not go agree for them. We not go agree. We go fight this politician. We not go vote for them. We go do. They can't go meet Babati. And all of us be poor people. We know now struggle people we deal. Each one of us no get 50,000 for account. We no be boast of 50,000 for our bank account. And they can't go meet you for night. Say, what did they do you? Why you get mouth like that? If we bring you come inside, they can't carry like 1 million give you. You will never count 100,000 before. They don't break you now. Before you know, they carry you. They come me. And you, now from you, now you go connect me, say, Omo, boy, you don't deflate your with a better house. And we be friends. Me come they ask you, say, what did happen now? What did they happen? This money where you they roll like this, eh? Show me way now. Say, hold on. Make I show you way. Now like this, so now like this. Person way on God don't wire in head. We be say now on God they dictate to Ram what he go do. What he want to make it do. You know if he wake up like this, you know if he boast of how he go eat for that day. You can't talk, say opportunity can't open. Your friend can't say, look, oh, maybe we do this. So now this is the way we know if they talk like this. Maybe we join them too. They succumb. That is what they are doing now. Now divide and rule, divide and conquer. Now if those people they apply, they conquer.
Let me ask you this question.
How would they vote for sure if they're that way? There's no hope there
now. No. What I'm telling you is that is why you see a lot of Nigerians, particularly the youth, weaponize poverty. Doesn't make them think right again. That is why they cannot jump. A lot of them cannot jump behind Sowore, who is very consistent, who is upright, who is showing them the way. And particularly Nigerians, adults, they're supposed to know better, to be able to guide. They are not doing the right thing because everybody is looking for quick money, magic. They are looking for magic. Magic. Eh?
Are you saying that the obedient led by Babati will still be fighting for Tinubu and Atiku's money?
Look, it never reach time. When money starts to flow. Look, Solomon don't tell us here. Say most of those boys where you see they chant, what are they say? Some of them don't tell them. Solomon don't talk. Say some of them don't talk. Say this my PVC now I won't sell them when it come now. Whoever give me now highest bidder I go sell them to. Solomon don't talk I'm here.
Oh my God.
And there's another guy too that's there's another platform I was listening to. He the support for 2019. He said all of them say they be Sowore and they don't determine, say they will go vote for Sowore. On that election day, now all these agents for APC and all these things don't come. This is as far back as 2019. And this happened for Osun State. He said they don't carry money everywhere. Now they come they approach them, say, I'm gonna take 20,000, make it go vote for APC. He said, before you know, all majority of his friends, they don't fall in line. 20,000. Where they be student, they not get 1,000 for hand.
So, but
they say for few minutes where they go take punch then thumb on one paper, say take money. He said.
So, Ajane Gogo, who do you think is going to? Who do you think sincerely or that we have the political will to actually work on a subsidy? And among all these contestants, all of them, that we actually have the political will that we do it, and it has a solution to mitigate the immediate.
What do you mean by work on subsidy? You mean to stop it?
I mean, how long can we continue like this with the subsidy?
They cannot, because they know the political implication. They know it's going to cause a very serious backlash for them politically. People will react instantly because the pains and suffering they are going through now will increase 10 times immediately. That pains and suffering will increase 10 times. So they why okay, but Buhari we talk say before he was elected, he said what do you call this thing? This subsidy. He said it was a scam. He called it a scam. This thing where he calls scam, it doubled 4 times under him. What Jonathan was paying then was subsidy was far low to what he's paying. Jonathan was paying in billions. He is paying in trillions for subsidy. So Bala Tinubu now is saying that they will phrase it out. They will do it phrase by phrase to stop subsidy. They will apply gradual approach. They're going to cut them small, before they go cut and finish. So what is the formula? Which formula is it going to apply? Can he tell us now how the roadmap to achieving what is promised? He cannot tell us. So I don't know what they are talking. There's nothing wrong in this. What do you call it? This subsidy. Nigerians deserve it. We should continue to have this subsidy forever. But the problem in this subsidy is that some of these criminals in power have developed a way of, using that subsidy for their own benefit and not for the benefit of the people. The scam that is going on in this subsidy regime is huge than any other thing you can talk about. It's an easy money because it is easy. They can declare some people supply that oil, and then they just write them billions of dollars in the name of subsidy.
Okay. What if we still have the same thing you speak of right now? That means subsidy, but they apply it at the pump. I think that's the best way to do it. Don't apply subsidy from the marketers. Apply it at the pump. So instead of government paying out those guys, because apparently we cannot track the movement of this petrol across the border because it is very porous. Then apply it to gas stations in Nigeria only. So that way you know who is buying, how much they are selling. Apply those discounts at the pump. That is the only way you can track it. That's just my own thing. Because
Nigeria will still find. They will still find.
But that would be a more better way to track it than because we have a post border right now. That would be the best way. Okay, go ahead, sir.
It can still be tracked. Let me tell you, do you know at the depot they don't even have this meter to record what is coming in and what is going out. They don't have, this a monitoring
tracking
system.
So how they pay based on just saying like
everything is just a paper. This thing they don't bring her in. We don't write paper and go and get your money.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that is that. Wow.
Babati, I somewhat agree with your suggestion that the subsidy should be removed from the NMPC space, and then they should find a way either to take it either to the petrol stations or even to the end consumers, because we all agree that petroleum should be subsidized. But from that video clip that we saw, that subsidy is not really anything to do with the end user. It's to do with the smugglers and the profiteers. So that subsidy area, it needs to be removed from where it is, and then they have to devise a way to ensure as much as can be within the Nigerian space that subsidy is actually to the end user, and then so they make them pay market rate when the petrol actually leaves the depots and the NMPC silos or whatever it is that. So they pay market rate there, but then at the end use, that is where the subsidy should be. So whatever device they can use to ensure that, because we just saw from that clip now, they are buying it at a penny at NMPC and selling it at $1 in Cameroon.
So that makes
one man.
Because you
that one
who is buying and who is selling, you can track it at that level easily. Then you can
one man and Babati. While what Babati suggested sounds really good, but that will even give the petroleum, what do you call gas station the opportunity to steal and steal more, because there's no way you can even track it. That is even going to be the worst. And why I said it's going to be the worst is that Nigeria does not have a credit card system that will show how they are buying this gas at the gas station. Nigerian system is a cash base. So the man can buy, what do you call it, a full load of tanker of petroleum today, and said that he finishes everything is sold out the next 3 days, and he will go and get more. And then you can't hold anybody responsible for this thing, because you are saying it is on the side of the consumer. So he's buying it.
No, but that should still be the direction of travel, though, because clearly, it leaving the depot subsidized is clearly just a scam space. So what they could do is they should be getting pump receipts from the petrol stations, and then applying the subsidy at that end. So pump
receipt by hand. By hand, one man.
No. By hand now. So maybe they are pumping the petrol from.
And also, they can also have people to monitor people. You know, they have in America to send people to keep an eye on them. Unknown, without Moftin and all those agents with tracking all those things. It's a market on itself. So that is possible. And by the way, if they send people, if they give you, let's say they give you 1 million liter of gas now, they give you within a month or 3 months. They know how much you are selling it, and they can track all those data. So they pay you based on how you can't buy more than what you need in that area now. If I buy 10 tanks in 3 days, that is too quick now. Like how did you sell that much within 3 days? That is impossible. So they can actually track how much you're selling based on the area you are. They know how much what the demand is in that area is for gas. So if you're buying too much too fast because you want to ship it to a different country, they will know. So it takes government agency to track those things. So it's all data. I agree with you. We don't have adequate data to track all those things, but we should put those in place and go through some level.
Yeah,
I agree with that part, but it's possible. It is more efficient that way than doing this thing right now, because right now we have how many posts do we have at the border, Oman.
Do we even have borders? The borders are porous, as we saw from that guy in Ede just there.
That's the problem.
And the same input that we are having at the depot space intervention is still the same level of input that you would be having at the end user intervention. And as you said, Babati, there's already existing data how much petrol individual petrol stations are pumping daily, monthly, annually. So if you move the subsidy to the petrol space and ask them to receipt refund at the end, it'll be very difficult for you to say, oh, you've been pumping 100,000 liters a day, and then suddenly you are now pumping 1 million liters a day. So that would not cohere. But that will remove the subsidy from the oil tanks to the petrol stations. And then at the petrol stations, it's even that much more difficult to manipulate at that space, But certainly it should be removed from the depots, I feel.
That makes more sense. That is more practicable than what we're doing right now.
But the most important way to go about this to minimize this smuggling of petroleum to our neighboring country is to allow our own refinery to work. When our refinery work, we can distribute as much as we required within our system, and then they can make it open for those that want to export to other parts of Nigeria as well, to buy and sell to other part of they can open they can open up our economy in such a way that neighboring country can come and buy from us legally. You understand? And if some people want to transport it by road, they can do that as well, buying it and take it to the neighboring country.
But sir, you're missing the point. The reason that you're buying it from us is because it's subsidized. That is the interest they have in the oil in the first place. So if you do that, they won't buy now. That's the reason they are buying, because it's cheap. They're buying the stolen one. No, they're buying it because it's stolen and it's cheap.
When you have a situation where we are producing at home, we can supply the internal need. Those ones that are going through, for internal use,
right?
Those ones can be subsidized,
right?
And those that will be going out of the country, we can let us just have it. That this is what, so we can know how much we consume internally. We can know how much we are selling,
right,
to make money for ourselves. So, but as long as we still continue to import this thing and we still want to subsidize, we can't have a stop to this smuggling of we can't have a stop.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. What I'm saying is that the interest that our oil has in West Africa is not because they don't have enough oil. It's because they are stolen. It makes it cheaper. So because it's subsidized, we are shipping out cheaper oil because it's stolen. Once you they remove that incentive away and say, okay, after our owning, we will give it to you. What you can do is also, this is what I think. What you can do is do the things you speak of right now, but give neighboring countries a reduced rate, not compared to what the local rate, but give them a reduced rate where they will buy from the government officially, but give them like a call it African discount for oil, Nigerian oil. That will remove the demand for stolen oil, so because they will get it for cheap, but it will be official. So you remove that, but if you just remove that away from it, they won't buy at all.
But that can be achieved
Yes.
can be achieved if we are producing it by ourselves.
Right.
But if we are importing, we cannot do that. But if we are producing this, then we can keep this.
Once you have met your local demand, then those extra ones you can give it to all those neighboring countries at a cheap rate. That it removes the incentive to be stealing oil to go sell it to them back at the back door. So that would be the best way.
Well, Babati, since you just hijack Adanekoko, let me.
We are discussing now. I'm not jacking.
We are discussing. You know, hijack me now. I see day where are they?
You don't say it's a flat man. All it means is just hijacking. All this.
Yeah. So, Babati, yes, if we are producing at home, we can drastically reduce this smuggling, and we can make this thing. You see, you know what encourages this smuggling is because we don't have enough at home. If we have enough in abundance for our use at home, even when they are smuggling it, we won't even feel it. And we don't pay. But we can do better. I mean, production at home can help us. Government can devise a way of, like you said, give discount to African countries. That will be remarkable, and that can really put us in a position of economic giant too, in Africa.
And in exchange, we make demand for their own goods too. Okay, we'll give you this oil for cheap, but give our people some things from your country. So yes, you build that economy in West Africa.
Yeah,
I don't know, Nigeria.
We can use it for a better, economic alignment, and with other African country cooperation, and a lot of things can happen. We can use that oil, to as a bargaining chips with other African countries to get some subsidized products from them too.
We still have a trade. Okay, for full disclosure, I grew up in a I think I said that before on this platform. I grew up in the manufacturing area, and there's too many embargoes for moving Nigerian goods to African countries. So you use that oil to open up that space for Nigerian business. If we give you cheaper oil, then if somebody is making something in Nigeria and they want to ship it to Kenya or ship it to Togo, they have free trades. You open up that space for Nigerian business to start shipping to all those countries for reduced rates. You bargain, you make that deal. So if I'm in Onitsha now and I have something that needs to go to Guinea now, Guinea will be getting your oil for cheap, but in exchange, we can ship from Lagos to Guinea for reduced rate for importing and exporting. You make a deal. It's all called trade deals. You should make by even giving them expo on this platform than even government officials self.
That's why I welcome you guys. Sit back every morning. If not, for down fire owner, but doing a great job.
Yeah, no. Ovie, because this is the thing. I grew up in Songo, right? And I knew back then they used to have all these trucks come from all these African countries to Songo now.
Songo.
The weekend they will come and ship out. They will ship all this perfume, Teju foam, Mako foam, all this rubber and tire, paint, wood finishing. We are shipping those things now during that 90s era now, before they put embargo on them. Open those spaces up, build those roads. They have all this road they're supposed to build in that corridor. Open it up, open that tree line up. I don't like your country self.
Sometimes Babati, when we speak sometimes that to govern is sometimes when we say it is easy, people will say, look at all this, look at everything you are just dishing out right now. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, to make
the plan is already there. That's my problem. I mean, I started planning in 1992. It was already there. The West African, was supposed to be a regional government first. Control West Africa first. That was Nigeria's plan first. Dominate the whole of West Africa first. Become a regional empire first. Then expand. That was the goal. What happened to that goal? We're supposed to be controlling all the Togo now. We're supposed to be controlling them.
And I'm also asking, why as in Nigeria giving another person or two more people a license for refinery. Why was it only Dangote? Because as if right now Dangote is holding Nigeria hostage. Everybody's waiting for him. When is he going to come up? When is he going to come up? When is he going to come up?
Let's move the conversation to another.
No, I'm just, we were on refinery. We were on refinery, so that's why I'm,
No, I'm not saying you are shift. I said let's just move to a different place.
Even the Wekoro, what happened to Wekoro now? We were discussing Wekoro the other time. What happened to Wekoro? They have benefit up now.
I'm not saying what you guys are doing is.
Sorry, Gary. No, the thing they pay me now. If I remember, if I remember those days when we they meet. Back in the days, they should have Germans come Songota. They call Songota the next big thing. The next, they pay me. They pay me.
Sorry. Back in the days, we never wise now. We never to go school. We never
get rid that country.
Well, just hold on. Let me. We are about an hour into the show, and let me take us to another space. But before that, let me shout out to our supporter, those who are sponsoring the show, who are supporting the show by buying coffee. We would never drink anyone this money, but thank you very much, and let's keep cracking. Let's go to my space, Konkozo space. Babati, are you there? You don't
know? Yeah. I'm in.
Konkozo, it's been in the East campaigning. Been to Enugu, been to Umahia, that is Abakaleke, where Umahi. So he is saying that he's kind of happy that the likes of Wike and Governor Dave Umahia did not win their ticket for primaries, that the race would have been harder. But now that because he gave reason that he said that because they are they've performed, so it would have been tough. That is, instead, he's happy that the likes of Atiku and Tinubu got a ticket, so it's going to be a easy ride for him at the nationals.
Well, I know it's your guy, so you're devoid of any objectivity. No. I get it.
That's exactly. Listen. Let me read it. Let me read what he said. It's not that I'm making up the.
No. I'm not criticizing. No. It's okay. I get it. You know, me. I'm with my SDP guy now. You know, I get
it. Just listen to this. Very short. They say the presidential candidate that's Konkozo said, of course, I would be very happy that people like Dave here, that's Dave Umahia, people like my friend Wiki and many others, I would have been very happy with them as presidential candidates, right? But we didn't want them as an opposition to go there because we know these are people who have performed. You know that as an opposition, you want people who we can just easily work on and win. And that is why we are so happy and comfortable now at the national level. So we are so happy that the strong ones could not get or buy the ticket during the primary election. So I'm not just making up the words. That's pretty literally what he said.
But how practicable, how realistic is that? It sounds.
Well, I think first, is it actually making sense first that people like Wiki and Umahia did not give let's assume these two people get a PDP and APC ticket. Would it have been a different?
Yeah, it would have been a different.
It would have been different entirely.
Yeah, no. On that one, I agree with him totally. If they had that ticket, of course, it would have been different. But for some reason, the East did not fight hard enough for their rights. That PDP ticket should have been to the East. If you look at the landscape, the way forget APC was more of a West nothing. But that PDP was supposed to have gone to them. So I agree on that space. But what he's saying is I agree with it extensively. But I don't know how well that will help him in that area. I won't say it's wasting his time.
Right.
I won't say that. Because there are genuine people that will open up to him and vote for him if he make inroads with that. But I think you should pay more attention to South. You should forget Southeast. I don't think he would do anything in the Southeast very well. But that South area is still very. I think he has a shot on because his VP is from when? It's from Benin, right? It's from right? Yes. So you can speak to them where they can understand what he's saying. I think he has a better chance in that than the East. The East is too far gone.
Baba T is not from Benin, he's from Niger State.
I don't know. Are you serious?
Why are you beefing him, man?
No. I'm serious.
He's a Benin man,
He's a Benin person now. He's not from Benin.
He spent long time in Niger, but
So I think people can. I think he has a better chance in that area than South. South is far gone. It should be between PDP and Labour. I don't see him making any noise there. But I do like him on. I like his policies. Ovio, seriously, I like his stance on security. I like his stance on security issues. He's a very well-educated person. Huh?
Why won't you vote for him?
Why won't I vote for him? Because I'm more of I'm more of an economics guy. So I've not heard of his policies that are not really doing it for me when it comes to economic. I want something very transformational, not the typical. I want something new, something refreshing, not the typical.
Who has presented that so far?
Adewale has presented that. I've listened to him very detailed. But the only issue I have with my SDP guy is that he's too private industry focused. We need more like a PPPP thing. Will be more practical in Nigeria. That would be my only issue with him. But let me look into your guys' business plans and policies. Maybe if I read up on it one more time, I'll go over it. Maybe I will have a different viewpoint. But I am not K. The one I saw that on this platform that will now be your candidate for 1 week. That will never happen to me. I'm going to still.
You will not. You have the. I mean, talking of Kulata, he wants to.
The one that sold that betrayed the movement. That Judas of a person. I was going to give it to him later, but it's fine. But
you want to know now. You know a little bit more about.
Okay, can you send me a clip of the VP, maybe of your party? I'm going to see like a interview is done so far. Maybe I've not been looking up for. Forget your primary.
You don't want to see that.
Look at
No.
That's right.
I want to hear his. Send me something. No. I'm serious. Let me hear.
He has nothing to say.
Bro.
Just listen, Baba T. The only thing that guy will say, you will hear, is he's just scattering everybody, doing some magic. Nothing. He has nothing. He has nothing.
That is bad.
I'm being honest.
Why are you the big man of God? Why are you
Obvious. I'm being serious right now.
Yeah.
If that man has not done an interview yet, that is bad for your party. That's bad.
No. He has some with the.
Yeah, but I know. So send me some link. I really want to listen to what he has to say, and because like I said, your guy is more of a military guy. That's the way I see him. So that's to be a balancing act between him and his VP pick. So I want to listen to what he has to say.
My guy is big on education too.
I know. I've heard that from Kulata. I heard that, but let me hear from your VP. Let me hear from him. So send me some links on the private chat. I will look him up and just come back for better takes on your party. That would be my own submission.
All right. Let's go to talk about your president. Is he going to go down as the most humble or simple president, most simplest president we get?
Ovie, do you know what bothers me? And I'm really getting sick and tired of it, of hearing a narrative. This thing that is a very humble person, is very simple, it is not corrupt. What do you call a person that is not corrupt but allows it around him? What do you call that kind of person? You clip. Remember when the guy made a joke one time? Remember when Gaduje stole money now and put it in his babariga?
Yeah.
And they asked Buhari that. So you saw the video of the governor. The man said jokingly, "What was he doing with that kind of money? Can't he just do it somewhere else? Like, why would he get caught with it? Like, it was pretty much encouraging him to do it, but not get a better way of doing it. Like, okay, so why did he do that? The man refused to condemn the act. You didn't send EFCC after him. So I don't get this act of, he's a pure guy, he's a holy guy, he's not corrupt, but yet some way somehow people keep stealing around you. I don't get that. So I'm not buying into that notion that he's some kind of holy guy. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. That's just I. But for ranking, if I have to rank him all time, if I have to rank him, I would say, man, because he's done it twice already, so it has to be the worst or second worst in the history of Nigeria. He has to, he ranks very low. If I had to rank, it will rank very low.
What about 5 years from now, and you begin to hear more about?
Funny enough, it was good luck before. Good luck was the worst until Buhari came and said, good luck. So we're like, okay, let's wait till 5 years. You never know. They might make you look like an angel. Before we should bash good luck now. We should bash
right.
We miss you. Good luck.
Nigerians, before when they first introduced Buhari, we said, hell no. This man is evil. He hate democracy. Everything was thrown at him. Before they come to ticket, polish him. We can't say, the man is very humble. It's not wasteful. He can fight corruption, blah blah.
But good luck was
now, fast forward to time again, we come back to saying a devil. So
yeah, but good luck was terrible, not because it was terrible for one thing, because he had that opportunity to grow Nigeria, because oil was at the highest. I know APGA had the highest as well, but he had that 150 per barrel. Man, we had that chance to be that country, and that was just a wasted opportunity. So that was just my only thing with him. It was terrible when it comes to economics. It pretty much it screwed us up to where we are today. But Buhari took it to a new level. It took it to a new level, and I think, in fact, to be honest with you, Ovie, if I had a chance to run for office in Nigeria, I won't run this time around. I feel bad for the next president, to be honest with you. I feel whoever is coming up is going to be like, what is I going to do for this day? I'm supposed to office in my house.
See, at this point, either way it goes, it's good. If the president go bad, very bad, it's also good because it would increase that tension, that frustration, that poverty. The space will grow. It will grow to a point that it will explode. Then we'll come back to our senses.
But
right?
They say that in the history of Earth, no country has ever survived 2 civil wars.
Well, I mean,
so if you are saying what I think you are saying.
No, it might not be civil war. The next one is not going to be civil. It might just be a revolt against
civil unrest.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be civil war. Who won't fight? Nobody won't fight now. I know we cannot fight ourselves to that point. Say go all out. Yeah. But we think just
they might introduce this tribal sentiment to that conflict. When people are very angry, they will start talking about somebody's a Christian, somebody's a Muslim. And you never know, we might turn this into some kind of tribal war. So I don't think that we're going to survive that kind of tension.
No, tribal war, our elite knows if tribal war start, they're not going to survive, because firstly, we go burn everything we then get. That one they are not ready to lose all that. So they will push us, but I don't think we will get to that point that we go all out, because the truth is that now them get property, we don't get anything.
Right.
We ain't got nothing to lose.
I even forgot to ask you. I was reading that Obi said that he's not going to come on stage again if Tinubu and Atiku does not come. What did your own guy say in regards to that? Is he going to debate regardless, or is he also making a stand as well?
Talking about his VP, I don't see Alexander don't they have me. The VP will be on Arise, full-blown Arise town hall meeting on this coming Sunday, I think.
So Obi and the VP again, even though he says he's not doing it again.
My guy understand the process. He knows sense. He wants to talk to people. He don't finish underground or not. He's coming to this house. So he's out. He's out to play. That time when they say they come out, he's strategizing. Mm-hmm. My guy knows sense. Even though bring out with anybody,
no.
any word he has.
Can you clarify? You said on Arise. Who's coming up on Arise again?
these two gentlemen behind me, they will be on Arise News.
Yeah, but I'm saying that for debate.
No, okay. No, there's no. I don't think. No, generally, I don't think there will be debate. I don't think there's any plan like that based on the way that they take attack themselves. In terms of a town hall meeting, just like what Arise did, we might see more of that. Where a candidate will just come and interact with people, tell them about their plan. It could be just the way they did the interview themselves, inviting the presidential candidate or anybody, but conversation will continue. But I know for sure. But I don't think. I think at the point they have to advise Obi to reconsider their stand.
Because it needs that exposure more than anybody else. So I don't really get this whole. I don't want to debate VP. Like the man is kind of overvaluing himself a little bit. I think he's pretty much outplaying himself. Like he thinks he's a big shot now. Like his level is not Tinubu and Atiku. I will not come if Tinubu and Atiku don't show up. I'm like, who the hell are you?
But Tinubu said they are not coming on stage again. Anything that organized by third party, they are not going to be part of it.
Oh, it has to be like agreed amongst the parties, right?
They are not ready to do any. As in, what they are saying that they want to control their own campaign, control their message, control their narrative. So they're going from one town hall to another. But they have the media now.
No. Okay, for the sake of no. That is no. There is no way I will.
He's not participating, Babati. Get it clear. He's not participating in presidential debate. He's not participating at all.
We can't allow that. We can't allow that. Even if you just go against Atiku, just do Atiku and you. That one I will watch. But to say no debate at all, no, come on. We can't. No. We are too we can't do that.
But it's not constitutional and it's not a must.
Forget that.
It's good, but it's not a must. Vote for him now. That's the best you can do. But just hold on, Babati. Let me talk to Foley because Foley has a good news for us regarding to our tomorrow show. Foley. Sorry. Foley, you are muted.
Good evening, Ove.
Hey, how far now?
Good evening, everyone.
How things?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I know I talked to you earlier this morning.
Yeah, sure.
So more they prepare for Shiwari by 12. Is that right?
By what?
12, right? 12 noon?
Okay. Is that 7 o'clock in your side?
No. Which time you talk?
It's 7 o'clock in Nigeria time, 7 o'clock.
7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Wait, he's coming to your platform. He's coming here on tomorrow.
Yes, it's going to be.
Sorry. We'll be leaving Port Harcourt tomorrow morning. So because of the stress and everything, I'm going to pull a call to him by 2 o'clock tomorrow. So by 2, we will know the final decision we have to take.
All right, Foley, should we put it out that it's coming, or should we wait for final confirmation? Because we don't want to put it out that he is coming. And
actually, he actually gave me his words. He actually said 7 o'clock tomorrow, but he said
7 p.m.
7 p.m. tomorrow. But he said he has to get to Lagos first and see the atmosphere before he can talk to me. Before he can give me his final thing. But he said tomorrow 7 o'clock. But because of the airline everything, we don't know.
That's why I don't want to. If you can push him to 9 p.m. tomorrow, that would be even better. But we will accommodate for because if he needs a moment to gather himself. Round about 9 p.m. tomorrow will be perfect for us. Anytime.
I'll be talking to him by 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Anytime he's ready, then you can let us know. So I'm not going to put it out yet. Until you give us the categorical assurance that he will be turning up. Because we don't want to, because we will look silly if we put it out that it's coming.
I think that would be better.
We had that with Chelsea who made us promises and he never fulfilled,
I think that would be better. Yeah.
All right, but pressure him, tell him he has to come and speak to the
No,
electorate.
definitely. There's no
Want
doubt. There's no doubt. I told you. He didn't even stress. It was one that even said I should tell you that you don't need to give any letter. That he's ready to come. So
yes, and tell him he's not coming here for hugs and kisses. So he's coming here for hard questions.
I
Hard.
know my candidate. We are not running for questions.
What my, you know what? Don't let them.
What hard question that you
There
have
is
that
no
question you want to ask where that
what
kind of hard question?
No fanboys on stage like you know what? You need to find on this platform. We should ban him from talking to show because he can make it very.
I'm sure he's coming tomorrow to come and school you guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we're willing students, so we're willing to learn. We're willing to learn. But well done, Folly. We're not holding you to anything. We know you are just using your influence to try and get somebody to come. So do the best you can, but we're not holding you hostage to that. If you can, good. If you can't, then we know you tried.
Actually, Chure is not as tough as people think. I think he's the most accommodative guy that I've ever seen is Chowore. Chowore accommodates everybody around him. He gave you that chance. No matter who you are, Chowore give you that chance to flow.
Because if we're able to get him, then it will open that space. It can be our calling cards.
We will get him
somebody
tomorrow.
like Kola
They are already giving his word.
At least all the smaller ones like Peter Obi. So if they see that they are not going there to be bullied or anything.
Stop calling them smaller. Everybody is contesting. No, stop calling them smaller.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. But all right, let me come off before I misspeak again. You know me now.
Oh man, don't block your own blessing. No, don't block.
Foley.
Yeah, Shaban.
Now you and your principal Showore, they always bombast our politicians that they are criminals, they are buying mansion everywhere.
That's what they are.
Wait. Whereas you get house for Abuja, you get for
even if you can have house in any state in the world, but you have to work for it. Not like you are using other people's money for it. No, okay. It has to be your money, your sweat.
I'm taking you to Buhari space. Buhari taking Charles. Yes, it is. Get single house for London. He's when he enter government. Buy house.
But his children has billions in their accounts. Do they work? Where do they work to get the money from?
That's speculation. Now we no fit talk that one. We just the speculation.
Oga, you witness Buhari's son naming ceremony now. Abi, you know, say I'm for YouTube.
And
is that how you celebrate your own naming ceremony? Are you not working? Which work have that guy did that make him to celebrate that kind of elaborate naming?
You know, say Foley, today now, if you become president, okay, let me know. I don't know. Okay, let's say your papa become president. You know, everything you're gonna get that for free.
All this way. Is that how Obama's daughter celebrate their own this thing? Is that how Donald Trump? What's it called? All these people we are talking about.
See the videos there.
Stop making us looking Africa as if we're a fool.
No, wait now. Waiting now. Naming ceremony, I'll be wedding. They talk.
Both wedding and naming ceremony. Everything is.
I don't know if they don't do naming ceremony.
They don't do naming ceremony now. Even they have to do and make it on a ship.
But if you be saying a gift be that one now, then the wife now queen now. She's a princess.
Okay.
Real princess. So.
Is it the first princess in Nigeria?
So can I ask Foley a question? Foley,
I'm here. That's why I come early.
Do you have any, apart from the mainstream media, are there any debates or any debates that Showore plans to attend, even with other candidates away from the so-called big boys that they that you know of?
We still have almost three months, complete 3 months and some days.
Because I want to see him on stage at least debate.
So what happened.
Babati, it's going to be on stage on the 17th.
Oh, no, that's an interview.
Yeah, it's called The Candidates.
Oh,
So
like
Yeah,
he
an
and his
interview.
running mate. So we're
that
going.
flanny girl, I mean.
Yes. No,
Oh,
I think it might
I
well be
I
another
even want to put.
anchor because she
I don't
did
know
so
if
badly.
Obi people can actually help us to arrange Obi and Showore debate. We are ready for that.
no,
Okay, so I will try and arrange that. I'll try and push that tomorrow,
Okay.
and then if we can push it to embarrass Peter Obi to take it on, and then
one man,
we will
that
hold
approach is
on,
not
hold
even
on.
going to
We
work.
will facilitate for that because I'm sure Showore is ready,
At
but is
least let
Peter
them
Obi
bring out
ready?
what they
Because
have. Let them bring out what they have.
We know Peter Obi is on the run, but we will give him a face. We will give him a
One
face.
man,
One man,
We know Peter Obi is on the run.
how will you agree to that debate if
Peter Obi and Tinubu is on the run when it comes to debate.
No, we want Peter Obi versus Showore because they're
Why?
both in the same both in the same intellectual space.
No.
They are
No,
both
they are
in the
representing.
space
They
and
are
the new
representing youth
generation.
space.
Yes.
They are representing youth space.
We don't need debate between Peter Obi and Showore. We need debate between Peter
So he's on
Obi
the
and
Why?
run, like I
Tinubu.
said, he's running
Why?
Abi.
No,
He
Tinubu is
can't
the one
hide.
running. He
We
has
will
to
pin
come.
him down. He will come.
We are going to
No.
pin Tinubu
We
down.
need
He
it
has to
from
be
the.
running too.
We need it from the smart guys.
Brownberry.
We need it from the smart guys. We know we already
You know
settled
what I
Tinubu
will
out of
do?
the game.
Sorry, Folly. You know what I will do tomorrow?
Okay.
I will highlight that narrative, that debate between Showore and Peter Obi. I will highlight it and get a reaction from Showore, and then I will clip that reaction, and then I will send it to Ingenje Media, who I know is the social media
Yes.
space
Yes.
for, and
Uh-huh.
so I would then use that to embarrass them to come on. So we
Yeah.
can do that.
Let them come on board.
What about your own candidate? You are not facing your candidate. You are facing other people. You want to. What about your candidate that is running away from that even said categorically that they are not coming to any debate? I mean, you people should come out and also speak about that. I mean, there should
You
be
know
some
what?
shame.
You know what?
There should be some shame.
2023 is still a long journey. Okay. And I believe at the end of the day, we may not Tinubu may not end up being our president. If you decide, we can still decide next week. If election is next week, we can still decide. Nigeria can still decide. But let people that sell them that are saying they are actually have the people in their mind. Let them come out and represent what people actually want. So we know Tinubu is not for us; it's for them. So we are saying that okay, our candidate is for us. Let our candidate come out and speak. At least we should hear from them. We should enough of we defending them. We talking for them.
Aren't we hearing from Showore and Obi? We are hearing from them. We are hearing from them every time.
No, we still want them to come and talk, share the idea.
Okay, but it doesn't mean that they have to debate themselves. It doesn't mean they have to debate
I will
themselves.
love it that way anyway. I will love it that way.
I mean, look, let me not just go to Showore. We love
Well,
Showore, but we love Showore, but we all know that. But we all know that Showore. We all know that Showore is not in this contest. It's just there. We all know that. So let us not just get into.
That's why you people are deceiving yourself by saying
We are
Showore.
not deceiving
What
ourselves.
makes
somebody
We are not
what
deceiving
do you
ourselves.
mean?
This is reality. This is not.
That's why you
We
people
are not
hold
trying to
on,
say.
you are going to give us another candidate 2023 that
It
all
is.
of us will now be crying
It
for
is
again.
the
how
reality.
This is the time we
how
have.
do you
Let's call
define
them out.
somebody
Let them
in
come and say
contest?
something to us now. They are coming to represent us
Let us
now.
not come here to say, Showore is in this contest.
We
Brownberry,
are
let
not
us
Showore is
ask
saying
in this
you,
anything.
contest.
We are actually
We
Brownberry,
love
saying that
him.
they
We
should come
love
out
him.
and
We know that,
debate.
but he's not in this
Come on.
contest.
Why is
We know
Obi
you
always
guys
like?
let me
love him,
ask
but
him, Foley, let me
let us
ask him
not
a
come here.
question. Foley, let me ask him a question. How do you define somebody in contest? Brownberry.
Why define somebody in contest?
Yeah.
Somebody that is really in it. Somebody that is really in it.
What do
He's not really.
you
When
mean
I
in
mean,
it? What do you mean in it?
okay. Out of all the polls that have come out, where did you see Showore there?
Have
Let us
you
not come here.
as
Let
poll
us not.
Because they didn't come to where I am. They
won
always go to
election
where
in
Obi
the past?
people eat.
The whole world know what we are talking about. I don't
No.
want to
Okay, my
argue
Because they
with
didn't
you.
question.
come
Okay.
to where I am. They
February
always
will
go to
come.
where
We'll get the
Obi
results.
structure eats. So leave that one.
Yeah.
They should
Has won
let them to come to
election in
my
the
side.
past
I will
for
give
us?
them supporters as well.
So we should not wait for
Brownberry,
their poll. Their poll is just a
Brownberry,
kangaroo poll.
Brownberry has Paul won election in the past, presidential election.
Poll hasn't won election, but you and I know.
No,
And,
no, no, no.
everyone
This is a
and those that are listening to us right now, even those that are typing there and those that are listening to us, they all know, you know, the four candidates that
so
the
you're
four
afraid.
they
You're
all know
afraid.
the
You
four
guys are
top
afraid of
candidates.
debating Showore, right?
I
Afraid
don't
of
know
debating
why. I
Showore,
don't know
but
why.
we
We are
are
just saying
afraid.
the
Tinubu
next
is
your candidate
afraid
come
of
and
It's
debating
just a waste
them.
of time. It's just a waste
where
of
are you
time.
running? Not waste of time. They are coming to defend us. They are coming to rule us.
You guys are
They
just
are not
doing
coming
this
to rule
again.
only you.
Come.
These people are not coming to rule only you.
Hold
They are
on,
coming
guys.
to rule us.
See, now this is what one man called.
Let's
One
go
man
and
say,
create obedient nation then, so that
Donald
Obi
to go
can
and rule
rule.
them here.
No. This is not
So that
about obedient nation. This is not at all.
it's
This is not about.
contesting
Did I
to be
say
president of obedient nation and
no?
not Nigeria.
This is not about obedient nation. Didn't I mention other candidates? I said this
Oh,
election is about four candidates that are major, four major candidates.
no,
Let
why
us not
you said
come here.
just put it stop.
You
Why
know,
you said
even
four slave
ADC, even
slave
ADC,
masters.
even
So I said
ADC.
you have to put it through. Four slave masters,
Uh,
not first candidate,
all
four
right,
slave
okay.
masters.
Those four slave masters are the people that Nigerians will be voting
You are
for.
not talking.
They will be
Thank
voting
God
for
you are.
them February 25th. So if you guys can just be,
Me,
you know,
I'm
moving
not
from
voting
one
for
radio
slave master.
station to
So
another
Brownberry,
and
so
thinking
be
that Sowore is
the
going to
big
get
brother.
Sowore is
I'm
going to
not voting
be
for slave
part of
master.
this
I'm
thing.
voting for people like people that want to come and lead us, not slave master.
And that is good for you that you are holding your own. It's good for you, but let us be,
So why are
let's
you
speak
voting
to.
for your slave masters? Why are you
I'm
not
not.
change? Why are you not removing the change?
Who is the slave master that you think
The
we are
four of them,
voting?
you just acknowledge it now that they are four slave
Okay,
masters.
you
Just
call
acknowledge
them
it.
slave master. Okay, good.
But you
So
acknowledge it.
you vote for Sowore and we'll see what happens. Thank you. I don't want us to be. I mean, this is reality. For us to
Okay, we
come
are
and be
not fighting
saying,
you. I just catch it for there.
ah,
Anyway, Showore interview tomorrow is already been supported by Ayo. Ayo has, support the show. He said, yes, I mean, I'm waiting for it. She has bought coffee to charge up, to that moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to do the same thing. Go on the coffee section, buy coffee to support the possible interview, Obenga interview tomorrow. And I'm excited because as if everybody wants to be on opposite side of Showore. And I think according to Foley, the man is equal to the tax. So,
No. Ovie, people in
yeah.
diaspora, we really like Showore and we want the best for him. Don't get us wrong. We
No,
really want the best for him. To be honest, in all honesty.
No, I don't know him in person to say I like him. I don't like him. I know him from the political aspect. That's what it's about. So can only criticize his policies, what he stands for, not him as a person. But I like
for
him.
me,
I don't like him. I don't know
I like
him.
Showore. I also like myself. So whatever I believe I want to do for Showore, I'm actually doing for myself.
So you see. So it's about the policy way in the drive. Am I cool with that? That's where the aspect I'm coming from tomorrow. So making convince me. I believe saying a future championship anyway. So, but let's leave that. Let's leave you out of the conversation.
Ovie, look at you. Look at you. Look at your background. Look at your background. Don't you have to Showore?
I tell you now. Say Ayo. That's how Ayo bought a coffee. So I have to. That's what he's doing. So yeah, and again, I'm not saying they watch. I think Foley should be proud of me for doing that. We are not promoting. We are promoting the cause of Showore, even though I don't believe in the.
Ovie, put my own guy too. Okay, have my own guys at the backdrop too. I do really deserve to be on the backdrop too. Don't be selfish.
It will cost you 250,000 of copy of coffee. Cup of coffee. 250,000 copy.
No, I will make it happen.
Don't worry. I will say that. You say what? Who's your Adewale Abi? Bring him.
Yes.
You can get us Adewale.
Yeah,
Those are the guys that we want. Adewale is also there.
You see?
We want those guys.
So bring Adewale. Get us Adewale.
At least if you want to come and govern Nigeria, if you want to come and govern, you want to be our president, I should be able to at least let's see you. Let's see that thing that you have. It's not like you're hiding it. We'll be the one that will be defending you. When you now got there, you'll not be saying you didn't promise us anything. It's people that said it.
Okay.
Like the way we got Buhari.
Let me make
do you know anybody that is close to
let me make some calls and see if I can pull that. Okay, I will try to get him on here for you guys.
Okay, yeah, that's what. And Foley, now you did Nigeria now, so anyone in the anyone in Ado Ekiti, anybody important, Abuja, anywhere that you have access to, that you can get us the person. Make we.
Okay, I also have a lady like that is contesting for what's it called? House of Assembly.
All right, yeah.
But she's from Kaduna.
Oh, correct. So
yeah.
Get us we are ready every day.
She's a journalist as well.
You see?
Awagambo.
Awagambo. Please, if you go free,
No, I can do that. I can do that.
So that I mean, we have a huge following, so we're actually doing a huge favor to them too. Not that they're no scared. Say people like them. The Brown, they always come here with AK-47.
Actually, this is exactly what we need, Sha. This is what we need. I think we've been having all this kind of platform. By now, we'll have educated ourselves better.
We
need all these things. We need all these things. You know, in the past, we only go with broom or umbrella to go and do APC, PDP. The next thing we have our president, he rule us for 4 years. He go again, another person comes in the same way. But now we have that platform to challenge what they are bringing. What do they have to offer Nigeria? Not like we just bring anybody to come and govern Nigeria. They should tell us what they have, and at least what are your pedigree? What do you have? Where do you come from? How do you even got the money you are spending? All those things, we need to be asking them questions now. These are the things that I think we all need to be asking them. You know, in America, when you are contesting, just like you must make sure that you are clean, that you don't have any dirty things, because they are going to dig everything out of your life. They will ask you. We have to come and defend yourself. Like when they are talking about Pandora paper, I want anybody to just bring something against Showore as well, either fake or anything. Let's see. If there is nothing like Pandora, the Pandora paper, they won't bring Pandora paper. Something must. Obi may not really be a link without Pandora of a thing. Showore has been in this space for how many years? Nobody has ever bring anything. And if you are bringing it, give us evidence.
I
think I have a call.
Yeah, you're dipping in and out fully. Let's go to Brown. Brown must be unusually quiet. I'm scared.
Why would you be scared?
Are you driving? Brownberry.
What's going on?
I did hear.
Are you driving?
I'm driving, but I'm okay. I can speak.
You can speak?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Buhari is trying to set a new standard, which if the standard if it's accepted by Nigerians, you, Brown, you'll be disqualified in case you want to contest, because you have houses everywhere. I learned of your house in Victoria in Australia.
Buhari has shot himself on the foot.
And the one in Mumbai, India.
Who is that? Where is this noise coming from now?
I believe it's coming from you.
No, not me. Somebody else. No, not me.
Maybe it's Foley.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think Buhari didn't even expect that question. You know, Buhari prepares for everything. They prep him for everything. So he didn't expect that question. He said, I don't have any house here. But he just shot himself because he has already confessed now that he doesn't have a house. You know, in this Western world, everything you own, they are all there. In open the record. If he doesn't own it in his name, maybe in his wife's name or in his children's name. So, time will tell. I trust the Premium Times and Sahara reporters. They'll start digging it out now, and they will send it to Shas. I mean, Shas should know before you ask him that question. He must have gotten some intel. So that man is a crime. He's a criminal. I mean, those criminals that just like snake. They act like snake, very quiet. You think they are man. This guy, look at what he's doing. Petroleum industry. Right? He's the petroleum minister. You see what he's doing. So let's forget that one. This man is a criminal, and a criminal will always be a criminal.
Just like that.
Very very pretentious person. Yes, just like that. I mean, let's just move on. This man is unfortunately in Nigeria. How many former presidents will ever go to jail? That won't happen.
They haven't done anything wrong yet. If they did, they will be in jail. Don't think so.
Not in Nigeria. Nigeria is a tribal country. If you want to put Jonathan in jail, forget that will be the end of of your petroleum. They will sack everything. If you want to put Obasanjo in jail, Yoruba people will come out. If you want to put Buhari in jail, Fulani will come out. They will start their own. So these are the things that will happen. They'll say, "Oh, you want to jail my person? You want to put my person in prison?"
When have you ever seen Yoruba defending Obasanjo? So if you want to put Obasanjo in jail,
of course, no. Let me tell you something, because it doesn't happen now. Because something like that hasn't happened does not mean that they won't come out and defend him. Because it doesn't happen.
Branberry.
Yes.
Some of the first-class nation in the world, the most democratic nation in the world, then send their ex-president to jail. Countries like Nigeria, America, Britain.
Why you counting Nigeria?
Well, we haven't sent any of our ex-presidents. Those are first-class nations.
Nigeria is a first-class nation.
Those are democratic countries.
Nigeria is not Nigeria is a representative democracy.
Wait now, Brown. Give us kudos. For once, we are on the same level with America and Britain.
No, those countries' institutions works. The institution doesn't work in our country. Look at what is going on right now. Look at all the litigations. Even just ordinary political parties, they can't even conduct themselves. Litigations everywhere. This one will say, no, you didn't win. This one, let's just. Ajali Koko is saying that when has Yoruba ever defended? They say, Moki not fine. Mama say Moki fine.
Mama like her.
Mama like her. Forget that thing. When this thing happen, everywhere go bust. You'll see the Yoruba leaders and everybody that you see the think hating will come and say, let it happen in case of Jonathan. You see they will come out from the creek and say, no, not on our watch. Let it happen to Buhari. You see the Fulani will come out and you know how they are fierce. They are. So I know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, you see they used at the 310.
Not be me that they call. Nah. Nah, for 13 I they use my brother, so I don't.
Yeah, so let me take you to your favorite people then. Well, no, on Konkozo's side, Konkozo said that he's happy that the likes of Wiki and David Umahi did not get a ticket of their party. So for that, it's going to be a walkover.
I think it's true in a way. I'm not saying it's going to get a walkover, but I'm just saying that if we have had Wike as the presidential candidate of PDP, it would have been very tough for Tinubu. It would have been very tough for him. I don't think if we have had him, I don't think Obi would have come out. But there was no way Umahi would have won APC's primaries, because APC primaries has it's been set for Yoruba person, either the vice president or Tinubu. I know most of the elites, in APC and in Yoruba land, they were supporting vice president. It's just the same thing that happened to Kwakwanso in 2015, where most of the elites in 2014, I mean, during the APC primaries, where most of the elites from the north were supporting Kwakwanso, but the Christian northern elites and the Christian politicians and the southern politicians they were all supporting Buhari. So because these northern elite, they already know Buhari. They know Buhari more than we do. You know, that is a snake. You know, but unfortunately, you know, with the help of the northern Christians and the help of the southerners, you know, Buhari was able to win that primaries, and they have no choice that they all supported Buhari in 2015. You know, so this is the same thing that happened again. You know, why the people that have the correct brain wanted Sibajo, but the people from the north and some Akbalagba from the south said, let's bring Buhari, let's bring Tinubu. So whatever we get, whatever we see, we get. So Kwankwaso is I mean, I'm not gonna, apart from the his deputy that he has brought, you know, Kwankwaso is a nice person, you know, but unfortunately it's not their turn. It's the turn of the south, and let's just get that out of the way.
Not turn by turn.
I mean, this is Nigeria. Nigeria is a representative democracy. I mean, it's turn by turn. I mean, it's south and north until we're able to get there.
The constitution. The God of Nigeria will disagree with you. Which is the constitution? Disagrees with you.
Constitution. We have no constitution. If we have constitution, is the Buhari following the constitution? And when it comes to what's it called? Federal character. The Buhari, when they asked Buhari about federal character, he said, but he said, but he appointed all ministers from every state. That's what he said. You know?
Where are you running to?
Who are you talking to?
All right. Let me hear from Banbury. Just stay behind your wheel. Enjoy the voice. While let me take it to Mr. Walker. Emmanuel, right?
Yeah.
Havana.
Good, I'm good. How are you?
Is PH? Are they fine?
So is that Emmanuel?
Yeah,
is that Emmanuel?
Yes, that is Emmanuel.
Oh, we thought it was a new voice. You're not a new voice. That's why we quickly came to you. You're not a new voice.
He's obedient now. Is he not obedient? Now, why you?
That is why
That is why one man. I'm still in Abuja. I'm still in Nigeria, so you can see what can happen. Abuja is not so come to me next.
Huh? You say what?
I said come to me regardless. Come to me regardless. I'm still in Nigeria.
Where are you? Where in Nigeria? You Port Harcourt, Abuja, Anambra?
I'm in Abuja.
You are in Abuja?
Yes.
No, what did happen with that now?
What did they do you?
Abuja, nothing happen for Abuja. And politics is local. Everybody don't go to village, go there run things.
I will leave that one away.
That politicians, they are just waiting for appointments.
Who is waiting for appointment? I'm not even interested. You can see that I'm heavily involved in ICT. So anything politics is a no-no for me.
Okay, see, that means I'm right for saying that you don't know where they go on ground. Anyway, let me bring you this fresh story that is just coming up. What's his name? And you are from Anambra? No, you know from Anambra people.
I'm from Ebonyi State.
Ebonyi State. Okay, let me start you from there too. We have seen Ebonyi. Is that where David Umahi governed? Abi?
Yes.
Okay. So Konkoso was in your state yesterday, and it was all smiley and happy, saying that thank God say your governor no get the ticket of APC. That would have been harder for him to become president. But now that him and Wike did not get the ticket for obvious reasons, to say they are performing governors. So if they have clinched their ticket, it would have been hard. But now that they lost the tickets, It's a breezy for him to sit in Asura come 2023. You think your governor fuck up?
Well, he can say whatever. I don't really like the man. He can say whatever he want to say there. But I actually want to commend his effort.
That hurt my feeling.
Hello?
Yeah, I said that hurts my feeling.
That hurt your feeling?
Yes.
How?
You say you don't like him.
Of course, I don't like him.
See, that hurts my feeling. That means you don't like him.
You know why? You know why I don't like him?
Hey, why?
If you are a leader and the citizens are not feeling your impact, you understand? So, you are good as non-entity.
Wait,
you're a leader.
Are you talking of Umahi now or Konguzo?
I'm talking about Umahi.
Oh, okay. No. You are good there. We're on the same side.
Okay. So I actually want to say, okay, fine. I actually, commend his effort by at least, making, paving a way and giving some security for Kwankwaso coming to Ebonyi State to campaign. And that's how democracy ought to be. Like, no matter how the differences you have in political space, political ideas and parties, so you should provide security for your opponent when coming to your state. Support, if possible, send a representative to come and at least witness what is going on, not to send thugs and sabotage and issue and people that can come and disrupt the serenity of the place you're doing something. That's not democracy. Democracy ought to be free and easygoing. So I actually love what I saw when he went to Ebonyi State, unlike when Atiku was campaigning in Maiduguri, where APC people sent thugs and stuff, disrupt their environment and try to manage them. So I think I really commend his effort on that aspect, and that's how it ought to be. And Kwankwaso is already proving that he's not a man that hinged on that bigotry sentiment. So he believed that if I am capable, vote for me. You understand? So it's coupled with, I think Kwankwaso and Peter Obi are people that we should even be looking into and even campaigning for. You understand? Because APC and PDP, they are all dead on arrival. They have destroyed Nigeria so much that youth, just only thing that remains for them is just to jackpot. That's all. So I think these two men are the people that Nigeria should consider if they want. Though they still have their baggages and some issues, but I think from what they are saying and from what we have heard from them, I think they are capable to some extent. You understand? And they have some integrity. So that is my take on that. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on there like that. I'll still come back to you. Let me go around. Black League. You did it?
Yes, sir. There.
Yes. And rumor has it that you have a house in Ukraine, one in Ukraine, one in Uganda, two in Kenya. And the president, as he was visiting his friend King Charles. I don't know. Are they friends? Who be senior yourself? Blackly, who be senior?
You go Google him now. No.
Okay, so was visiting King and King from nowhere. I don't know. I don't know if he's from nowhere. People are really meaning to it. And he asked Buhari get out for London. And Buhari says if he enter government, he never buy any house. Now the old house when he gets for Kaduna and Zamfara and Katsina where he come from, now he gets. Now, what do you see at that? Is there something that when Charles is telling us, not just about Buhari himself or about the candidate that we have currently, or it's just a shot? What do you think? What do you see there?
I mean, I don't see it as a shot. It's a straight up question whether he had a house in UK, and the president replied in the negative. But I mean, there might be deeper meanings. I mean, we remember, thing was David Cameron speaking to the Queen, saying, "Oh, Nigeria is incredibly corrupt." So of course,
Fantastically corrupt.
oh, fantastically corrupt. Yeah, that's the word he used. Fantastically corrupt. Like for him to even go specifically to to choose such an adjective to describe us, it was crazy. It's like they were almost laughing it off. So of course, maybe in the royal family they have discussions about corruption and corruption proceeds. Of course, UK government will know about that. They are one of all our thieves in Nigeria. They usually go there to keep the money. So the UK government for sure knows exactly how much is being siphoned out of the country. And they're just laughing it off. Why? Because they are profiting off it. It's one of the things that is keeping their economy afloat. And that's why they only condemn it as they pay lip service, really, to condemning it. They don't go
Obey,
further.
nothing do you. You are there.
Hello?
Sorry, what he said?
I don't know. That's a random voice from. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but also, I mean, having how you say you heard I have a house in Ukraine, but what's wrong with having houses abroad?
Oh, if you can have, as a government I don't think there's any government job you will have anywhere in the world that can afford you houses everywhere. As a politician,
in the government jobs in Nigeria, you can afford your houses.
As a politician,
but even if you're out of,
as a politician, as somebody who was voted for.
Okay, what if you had the houses before you got into office? Or what if you can explain how you bought the houses with your salary? Because some of them actually have stupendous amounts as salaries, especially in the National Assembly, different federal ministries. I mean, their salaries can buy houses abroad. But aside, let's put politics aside. As a banker, won't you have a house abroad? With your salary? Would your salary afford you to have a house abroad? Or if you work for one of these big companies in Nigeria?
No, of course. As a private citizen, as somebody who works outside the confine of an elected official, of course, there are jobs out there who can make you buy whatever you want anywhere. But I just say, and again, and that's a random conversation too. I don't know why they ask themselves that kind of question. They are in their 70s, so if they cannot afford it, they could be having relatives that will buy for them. But let's go to the Konkoso. What Konkoso is saying about Wiki and Umai, that if they have not that is happy that they don't get their ticket, they don't get their party ticket. If they, based on the fact that they are performing governance, that if, because of that, now it's going to be an easy road for him. Do you think it's just
well, your man is playing politics. In one hand, he's patronizing them. In another hand, he's selling himself. So he's really going after their base to say, okay, your man didn't make it there. I made it there. So you should see reason why you should support. I think that's what Concourse went to tell them in Ebonyi. I don't really know about, the politics and Umahi's performance in Ebonyi State, but I certainly haven't heard, any of anything extraordinary he's doing over there. So I think Concourse is just playing politics. He's trying to gather as much numbers as he can south. His team believes that the north is already in the bag for them. they would win the North convincingly. Where they need to work on is the South, especially in the case of a runoff. It will be to their advantage because you don't need a spread, you just need numbers. So when they bring their numbers from the North, added to however small the numbers is that they will get from the South, and put it together, they might coast to victory. I mean, that's your own team. I'm seeing Showore behind you. Let me ask you, are you still Kwankwaso your Showore now?
We are trying to get Kwankwaso here tomorrow. I think he promised to be here.
You see, maybe you don't feel like that, maybe today. Simple question. Are you for Kwankwaso or Showore? Simple. I'm expecting a one-word answer. Yes, I'm for Kwankwaso. That's it. Yes.
Why you
Are you still for Kwankwaso? Because there's Showore behind
you. Black League, why you dey worry? No be Nigerians na be, no be chameleon people na be, no be so na they change from Tinubu to Buhari, Atiku. We gotta change
Don't put
go.
us all for one basket, Angelic Coco. This is you're letting Obi off the hook. I don't put her for corner. You want to
stable people.
Like
no be stable people.
Oh my God.
Una no dey stable. Leave am. Na Nigerian like you. Leave am. Na so na be.
But they say Showore know they give money now. So what you make and switch?
I'm loyal to the caliphate. How about that?
Sorry, who is speaking? Is that K?
Huh?
No, that's Black League.
Black League.
Black League.
Okay.
Okay, let me go to Black is hold on, man. Let me come to Uka Emmanuel. Okay.
Yes.
What do you say to Soludo? Soludo is saying that Anambra will not vote for, will not support the presidential ambition for obvious reason, because as a state now, as a Anambra and APGA, as we all know, and APGA has their own candidate. Do you believe it?
So, Soludo said they will not support other party, or they will not support Obi.
They will not support Obi a presidential ambition. Let me already briefly. Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo has declared that the All Progressive Grand Islands, APGA, will not support the 2023 presidential ambition of the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi. Though Obi is from Anambra State and the former governor, he is not part of the current ruling. He's not part of the current ruling party in the state, which APGA. So Soludo said because APGA has his own presidential candidate, though they wish Obi well, it is not possible to support him against their own. The Anambra State Governor has quoted to have made his stand known in a recent statement through his special advisor on political matters, Dr. Alex Obiagolu. He observed that supporting Obi will automatically mean working against the APGA presidential candidate, Peter Umeadi. The governor noted that the Labour Party is not a threat to APGA, as those who should feel threatened about the obedient movement and members of the People Democratic Party, because LP is an offshoot of PDP. According to him, APGA is in the race to win and further expand its coverage as a major political party in Nigeria.
I think I understood what you're saying. So let me comment from there. So Ovie, Soludo is talking like a politician and is his party. So what do you expect him?
He said voting for Peter Obi is voting for PDP because option of PDP. I mean, he didn't put it like that, but he just said those who are hungry towards the Labour Party movement, the obedient movement, is not because of Obi himself, but it's because he's part of the PDP.
I think if you're angry because of what Obi is doing in Anambra as a Labour Party flag bearer, you can. I don't know how I'll put it. You shouldn't be angry or anything. Everybody have their choice to make.
No, he's not angry. He just said the people, like the supporters out there,
Is
Not
it the
him.
supporter of Obi are angry or PDP? I want to get it.
No. Soludo said that those Anambarians currently who are hungry, towards who have been hashed towards Peter Obi movement in Anambra State, they are not doing it because they hate Obi. They are doing it because Obi, the movement is pretty much PDP.
Okay, now I understand. So obviously those people are the people that belong to APGA that are angry, not really people from PDP, because everybody in PDP now in Anambra State is with Peter Obi.
Are you
But
sure?
yes, I'm sure. So even
Everybody in Anambra,
people, yes, everybody in PDP in Anambra is with Peter Obi. See, Obi, let me tell you, with Igbo people you don't know. Igbo man will vote APGA in maybe in a Senate or in a governorship or other thing. But when you come to presidential election, they will vote for Peter Obi. You see those whole of that southeast, that 5 states, that's how they are going to vote. They are going to vote individual parties. Individual, that is a candidate, not like zombie pattern of voting. No,
but
they are going
it
to
might be
vote.
a big loss for Obido if the APGA, because now obviously APGA is the majority in Anambra State. If they choose to vote for their own candidate, would that be a big loss to Obi? Because
APGA, nobody is going to vote APGA for presidential election. I'm telling you this. Nobody. You know why? You know why?
why? Even from Anambra or where
Let
they
me give you two reasons why they will do that. APGA, the APGA candidate is nowhere now. It's like is a party in a trench.
yes.
So
So
even
those
though
people want to build their party beyond Anambra State.
wait
So that's it.
even though everybody in Anambra State, the 100% gave APGA vote, APGA is nowhere to be found. It's just like dropping a sand in an ocean. It's nowhere to be. You can. They are not going nowhere. So every Anambra person that want to vote have this thing in his mind, back of his mind already. You understand? So nobody is going to vote APGA in presidential election. But when you come to like governorship election or other position, they might tend towards APGA as a party. But you see that I'm telling you, see the 5 states in Southeast. That's what I'm telling you. That's how they're going to vote. They will pick individual candidates. That's how they're going to vote.
Okay, let me
So
hold on.
whatever Soludo is saying, just saying it as a political, as a politician. You understand? So someone that wants to cabast votes for his people. You don't even expect him to say otherwise, of course.
All right,
So
just
he's
hold on.
making sense.
Let me ask the Ajaneko the same question. Ajaneko, before I come to you, well, so far we don't get one coffee that supported to support the platform. Thank you for that. But if you are there looking at me right now, they watch me. See, what is this guy saying? That's what I'm asking you. Since you are enjoying us, be part of the show. Support us so that we can keep bringing the valuetainment to you. Anyway, Ajaneko,
Hey, what's up?
do you see reason
I
with
they at the middle of something now. Let me come back.
okay, Babati. Babati is not there. Let's come.
No, I'm here. What's up, man?
Now, what do you say to Soludo? Who, I mean, from what he's saying that other than the fact that they have their own APGA has a political candidate, they also have the intention of building the party beyond Delta Anambra. So for that reason, they will not be supporting Obi, the APGA people, which is pretty much 80 or 90% of Anambarians, will be voting for their own candidate instead of Obi.
Do you know what that means? That means Soludo is already eyeing the presidency.
Oh man, you don't blame me now. You don't
You
blame
have
me.
to look at he's already building his own coalition. So the game he's playing is playing for Abuja for maybe the next 2 or 3 cycles. But I do on a party should not be seen as regional. It's not good for that party. It's not good for the country. So on that note, I agree with him. But it's also a politician, so he also has ulterior motives. I'm not going to buy this that is willing to expand beyond that. But to actually move towards being a bigger party, he has to still have your people be open to voting for Obi, but don't make it on the basis of it being based on tribal sentiment or something like that. So they need to grow the party beyond the southeast. But I'm looking down the road that it's more towards his own ambition to become president, not because he really cares about any. He's not leaving that party. He's not going to do that, but it's for his own ambition. So that's what I see.
All right, Blackley.
Yeah.
Blackley, do you see Soludo delivering Anambra to either Bola Tinubu, Konkozo, or Atiku instead of Obi? I mean, Babati just pointed out that, for someone who has maybe has a presidential ambition in the future, what do you think?
I think Soludo would work for the candidacy of I forget his first name, Umadi.
That's his own.
Peter Umadi, I believe.
Peter Umadi, yes.
Yeah, that's the candidate of APGA.
Yeah,
and I think him saying he intends on growing the party beyond Anambra, beyond Southeast, I think it's a shot at Peter Obi. Because Peter Obi, out of all of them, he is the godfather of APGA. He got the governorship of Anambra State under APGA, and he failed to spread the party. Instead, he abandoned the party. So I think that was Soludo throwing a shot at Peter Obi, that he would remain in the party and expand it, because Obi didn't expand the party. He abandoned it. That's just how I interpret what Soludo was saying. And I also agree with the last speaker by saying Soludo is plotting for his own presidential ambition. I mean, that's normal in politics. Politics is like school. After primary 1, you would hope to move to primary 2 and then 3 before you go into secondary school and then university. That's the same way politics is. So from governorship, he would of course want to be president. If he doesn't get it, he would settle for minister or a senator. It's still a step.
And he's claiming that Soludo is claiming that APGA is the third biggest party in in Nigeria. He went ahead by justifying that by saying that APGA, other than APGA having a governor, they have members of national assemblies, they have senators, House of Reps. Is that would you agree with him on that at this point?
Based on that, based on how many governors and National Assembly members you have, APGA is the third, because none of the other parties have a sitting governor besides PDP and APC. Am I wrong? The only other one is APGA. Parties like the YPP, yes, they have a senatorial seat here and there with Ifeanyi Uba and the rest, but there's no other party that has a sitting governor. So by that standard, yes, Soludo is right.
Okay. Rational man, Shawambe. Rational man,
Start the topic with Tinubu, he'll respond.
Ovie, did you guys cover that? I watched 1 month. I think it was K that did that little talked about that fraud case of Tinubu that they released the document.
We did talk about it.
Oh
yesterday.
yes. Oh, okay. I missed the show yesterday, so I was just like that was. So when he said Tinubu, I'm like, well, it's a Nigerian politician. That won't make any difference. They will just that would not make
right. That's why I don't want to flog it too much, because I just they'll just distract us with that kind of.
They will say how much is 400,000. They will say how much is $400,000.
That's what I say. Actually, that's what I said when I first saw it. I was like, "What do they want these people?" Anyway, let me go down with this rational mind.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yes, your friend I here before you collect your babe in 1822, August 1822 to be precise. That's I'm talking of Soludo. Soludo say, well, it's not going to be as frenzy as everybody they say in the South Street that Obi is going to take care of all the Southeast states. He said he's going to they have a candidate in the struggle as a state, as a party. Because if you see Anambra, you say APGA. So they have their own presidential candidate. So they are going to work for their own presidential candidate. They are not going to work for Obi, even though Obi is from Anambra. Are you seeing him standing by his words, or?
Well, there are two ways to look at that thing. What you just said. I think I agree with Black League when he said if we're to rank them, they should be the number third. Because
that's what Soludo is actually claiming.
Yeah, they're number third because they have a state under their control and they have numerous state house of not state, just states, federal House of Representatives and senators, I guess. So I would say they are third. I would rank them that way. But then there are two ways to look at it. I don't think he has any basis to say that he can work for their presidential candidate. He can work because as a party man, what he said, the statement he made is he's saying it because he's a party man. He belongs to APGA. So we won't expect him to say anything less than that.
And Babati, alluded to the fact that the man has a presidential ambition in his future.
Definitely, we know. Every governor, there's hardly any governor except that governor knows saying no go fit, or maybe has not performed. Even if Yaya Bello, as woefully as he performed, can still be thinking that he has something to offer Nigerians. What other governors would not do that? Every one of them they do is just because they feel like they have the chance of clinching the ticket for their party. They will all contest. I believe that most governors, let me not say every governor, most governors, their intention is not just to end their political career with governors, but then they still want to expand, if possible, become president. So we would assume that he wants to become president. That would be my assumption.
Okay,
is hoping to become a president, but let me just say quickly this before I go to that. But the thing I see with that Soludo statement, like you just described, is that he's speaking as a party man, and of course he work for his party. But at the end of the day, the people of Anambra will be the one to decide if they want to go along with their APGA governor and their presidential candidates and a special candidate for their party, or they want to pitch their tent with Obi. But from the readings I'm looking at, they will not do that, because even his election, Soludo's election he almost lost that election. If we're to look at it strictly, he almost lost that election, because he did some things at the end of it, in between during the election when he went to see, maybe he made some statement to sympathize with Kanu. I think he went to see Kanu, or based on kind of negotiation with the IPOR people. He kind of whipped their sentiment. That was why a lot of them had to vote him, because that election, he almost lost it because it was a PC plan for him. They really planned to really win the election, but the whole world was watching and all of that. That was why they could not do that. So for me, I see that the people of Alhambra will decide, but I think they will swing massively towards Obi. That's what I think.
Okay.
So I don't think so. My board there is that even though he has presidential ambition, the ambition where I see that the way he gets to say he will eventually cross carpet. He cannot get that kind of ambition. He wants to have it on. I mean, this person what they call Soludo. You know that he was a PDP guy. Well, once a PDP too. So he moved from PDP to APGA. So what makes him different? And I'm sure if he wants to succeed, if he wants to make any success of any of his presidential ambition, he will have to go to a bigger party, just as Obi did. So these people you are talking about, they cannot actualize this ambition. And this, if PDP and APCC remember that too, it's in the future. But I know definitely,
if one of them win the presidency, they will remain. If either of any of them win,
well, let us see. But then I just
lose out totally. Then we stand a chance.
But what I'm saying is that APGA is just a regional party, a local party. Besides the East, they've never really won other seats, other places, other parts of Nigeria. That's it. So I'm sure he will have to cross carpet again at the end of the day to achieve his presidential ambition. That's what I see.
All right. Before I come to the progressive, I was a Labour Party is APGA on steroid, and LP is PDP light.
Obviously, you know that PDP will still remain, but APC is only kept together by power.
You're talking to me?
I said
no.
I said PDP will still remain as a party, but APC they're only there for power. If APC loses that election, the APC is done. The only thing keeping APC together is that presidency. If they lose that power, they will be done as a party. I want to them sitting together for that long. PDP will still remain. Maybe not before, but they will still remain as a party. But APC, if they lose, our money is over. That's it.
All right, we will see. Progressive, are you there? Or you are not? All right. Progressive is not there. Let's go back to we don't sample that one around now. Let's go to the petroleum subsidy. I saw 8. It was here and it's gone. Okay. Eddie actually was very particular about the speech yesterday. Okay, let me start taking the Black League.
Yeah.
The subsidy. The minister is saying that if Nigeria should remove the subsidy, we are bound to buy fuel for $410. 10 naira. Sorry. Do you see any of these? Men currently running for the presidency willing to go that route? Have what it takes to go that route?
What route are you talking about? What route?
How the political will to remove the subsidy? They say if you remove the subsidy, petrol is going to be 410 naira. Currently, is going between 175 to 200. But if you come out the subsidy, it will jump to $410. So the question is, do you see any of these political candidates that have political will to take the risk?
Well, first of all, I don't even think the issue is removing the subsidy, because the subsidy itself is not like it's entirely a scam, because it helps the people. But because it's so essential, people use it as a scam, whereby people are paid to import petroleum products or paid to subsidize it. So, some ships don't even come ashore. They are not onshore. Some of the ships don't exist. Some of the ships have been out of service for years. Some are just ghost ships. But people are paying. The country is paying millions and millions of US dollars. If you calculate how much we've been subsidizing from when subsidy started till today, it can build a whole country from ground up. So the scam is just too much. And the current president has said that it was a scam. He had acknowledged that before he became president. He acknowledged that the whole subsidy scam linked with the NNPC, he himself being involved in the PTF, he knows about the subsidy scam. But I think the forces there are just more powerful. than any one single president. Maybe that's why we haven't gotten a real solution to the problem. Because I really had faith that the current president would resolve it once and for all, seeing his track record in the PTF. But unfortunately, it's still going on, and the regime is about to be over. So, to answer your question straight, I don't see any one of these candidates.
We are talking about his track records. People like Ajane Goku will say his track record in PTF is nothing to write home about.
Track record in the sense that he has enough experience to know where the scam is, where all the loopholes are. You know, him having worked in the PTF and him being a military general. So he should know about that. He had also been a governor and he had been a president. So he knows administratively this works.
Black League. When he was Minister of Petroleum Resources or whatever back in the 70s, and when it was PTF, the monster that he dealt with then was there from the monster he will be dealing with today. Because those years when he was Minister of Petroleum Resources and all of that, and PTF, the refineries were still working. So that track record you're talking about, I wouldn't expect him to. I know there are other things, there are other factors behind why he could not deal with it. His health is one of it. The guy is not totally himself. No, he's not himself anymore. Mentally, I don't think but apart from that, I don't think he's able, because I don't know what track record you're talking about, because he has never had the experience of what he is currently having. Of course, he might have people around him who seems to understand it, but the question is, would they really advise him to do what is right? You know, because these people are being paid by these lobbyists or some of these people who have interest in this scam of the whole scam around the subsidy. So my point is that the track record you're talking about, I don't see it. Like I agree with Angelico, because the monster that is dealing with right now is different from the monster that he dealt with when he was PTF and Minister of Petroleum, because those years the refineries were still working to a larger degree. So I don't think he understands. He has a grasp himself of what is really going on in that sector.
Yeah, and that just leads me to believe that it's just a systemic failure. There's a lot of the different parts of the system just are not doing their part in ensuring that the whole system works. The corruption has eaten too deep in, whereby the contractors are corrupt, the people who are to oversee the work are corrupt, being the legislature, both the reps and Senate. So the judiciary is also corrupt, which should be the last. They call it the last hope of the common man. It's no longer that. Where the judiciary also is corrupt, then the last place where you can get a little bit of check and balance is eroded. Then there's no hope. Then anything can be done, like a banana republic. That's why this whole subsidy thing has become such a monster, something that should be helping regular folks, because at the price, because first of all, it's priced in US dollars, petroleum around the world. So you have to convert that rate to whatever our currency is. Just the common man would not be able to afford it, period. We need a sort of subsidy in petroleum or another, especially PMS, which is the one most commonly used by the common man, and kerosene, because PMS actually just impacts every part of the economy. So you don't necessarily have to own a car or own a generator for the price of PMS to affect you. So that's in cases like that, yes, we do need subsidy. So I wouldn't even suggest that any of the candidates get rid of subsidy, because the people who will feel the effects will be the common man and the common woman. I would just suggest that the whole system needs to be looked at to ensure that it works right. It's not just one person failing, it's a whole system failure.
What's been suggested, Black League, is that yes, the subsidy is might well be necessary, and if you go to the Middle East, by the way, places like Dubai, you can. I think petrol is probably even cheaper than water, so heavily subsidized in those economies. And the one competitive advantage that we do have in Nigeria is oil, and if we make it as cheap as we can, it can propel the economy, which it should be propelling the economy. So the subsidy is right, but where the subsidy is being placed is where people are having issues with. We played a clip just before you came in of an eagle-eyed, diligent custom officer intercepting a fleet of petrol tankers on their way to Cameroon, heavily subsidized Nigerian petrol, on the way to Cameroonian market, and his boss, the controller of his area, is chasing him round to let go of those tanks. So that is to tell you that where the subsidy is being placed for the advantage, for the benefit of the Nigerian person, is completely out of skew and is easily corruption infused. So the subsidy should still be there, but should it be at the depots where they are being filled, or should they find a way to move it to where it is localized to the end user, so that the impact is felt directly both by the Nigerian person and the economy?
Okay, can I also add to what one man said?
Yeah, add on to that, and then Black League sweep it up.
And also we brought up, but that was a different episode. I also brought up the fact that you can also subsidize that the NUT. So if you operate a public transport service, for instance, at the motor park now, you can get a cheaper rate than everybody else. That way you are moving people up and down for not interstate necessarily, but interstate. So you for if you're taking public transport, or you run like you're part of a union, for instance, you get to buy fuel at a cheaper rate. That way, the cost of running it will reduce. Then people will pay cheaper service to move people around. And also, we reduce the incentives for people to be stealing and shipping to African countries by dealing with those countries directly and supplying them oil at a reduced price. So that way, we can expand our exports to those neighboring countries and just take out those the smuggling part of it. So that's the things we brought up before you came in and back.
Yeah, however way you go about the subsidy, I mean, corruption can seep in. It's not like it will be corruption proof, because we do not have a system that works. I mean, all we're talking about here about subsidy is all corruption, really. Whether it is subsidized at the pump, or is subsidized at where the marketers to the marketers that ship it in, wherever you want to subsidize it at, there's bound to be people that are corrupt. So how do you get rid of the corruption? Period. And in Nigeria, that's a very dicey situation. Anything, any topic that involves corruption, it's hard to deal with in Nigeria. Why? Okay, we can make a system that works, but the people there that run it, are they actually willing? And the general people themselves, as Nigerians, we seem to always give corruption a pass. We put
Sorry, whoever is not speaking should mute themselves. We are getting heavy feedback. Sorry, carry on.
Can I interject, Black League, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Yeah, we can stop corruption. We can stop it, or drastically minimize it, rather, if we introduce, if we put in control measure and introduce technology to monitor that space. It can be drastically reduce, but what you have in Nigeria that make it seem as if we cannot tackle corruption is because of the leadership that are not willing to introduce, to put in control measure and introduce technology, to monitor the transaction and the movement of fuel from one place to the other. So we can do it. It is not a rocket science. It is done all over the world like that. But if you look at even Nigeria, petroleum industry, or what do you call it? NNPC. Nigeria is the only country where you see they have like a merchant trader between them and those that we sell our oil to. Whereas you see other countries, they sell it directly to the buyer. So why do they have that middleman selling it? They are the one occupy those places, those government officials, so that they can make extra money. They can have, they created an avenue for them to be making money for themselves, even more than the country. And they will look as if, Nigeria is trading in oil, we are selling so oil. We should be making more money than we are making because they have their agent at the middle between the country and the buyer selling the oil on behalf of the country. So there are so many things, so many structures they have in place that can be dismantled to make that industry work better for Nigeria and the goodness of that nation and life, and the people, for the interest of the people as well. So
pretty much.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you see, in fact, if we were to do a forensic kind of analysis of the whole thing around the fuel subsidy, I agree with you with what you said. The technology has to be used, but then another thing you need to understand, we need to look at again is what is this subsidy itself? People go abroad. They carry Nigerian oil, they take it abroad to refine, they bring it back, and they tell the government, yeah, I came back with such amount of barrels of oil. I'm selling to Nigeria. And they subsidize it, they pay them, Nigerian government subsidize it. Now, the question is this. Those oil they bring back, where are those oil bedded? Where is the tank? The tank farm or farm tank, tank farm where they pour those oil for the local tankers to go and get it. Is the NNPC did they have the tank farm where people go in and get this subsidy? This petrol to go supply the local filling stations? Now, these are all the things we need to look at. We need to do a forensic analysis of the whole thing around this. But for me, what I see is this: if you listen to this guy,
rational mind, this
can I finish this? Can I quickly make this thought? If you listen to that guy, the SDP guy, he gave a very, very clear, lucid explanation of how this can be tackled. He says every ship that takes our oil out, that brings it back, there is an international kind of number or numbering system or whatever system they give to them, whereby you can track the ship number, who owns the ship, the barrels of oil that is coming in. Now, all these things that we hear in the NNPC or in the the subsidy sector, whereby they said the fictitious oil that they never brought in, they get paid. Now, how many people are given that license to bring in? Why don't we streamline that number to particular people who are truly, tell them, look, if you don't have a tank farm like MRS and the rest of them, this other guy that owns, that used to have a own, what's it called? First Bank, who lost First Bank. Now, if you have that guy has a tank farm in Apapa, Mobil has their own tank farm. Yeah, so all of you that wants to be bringing oil, you must have a tank farm. Bring in your oil through your barges or your ships, pour them in your tank farm. Put, according to that SDP guy, put a kind of how do that put like metering system, so that from there you'll be able to gauge what amount of oil is going out, being poured into tanks that will be supplied, and also each filling station, give them a controlling numbering system for each of those tanks that are local tanks that are taking those. You see, this can be done with technology. We can do it. But my point is this: streamlined, because I don't know if you guys have heard about one guy who's on the run now. The guy's here in America. I think he's also having problem with the American, maybe Nigerian government. EFCC asked America to have him extradited back to Nigeria. This is a nobody guy. Nobody even know him. He lifts oil in Nigeria, and is also involved in the subsidy scam. That he collected money that he never,
take us the national mind for time. Yeah.
So my point is this: we need to cut down the numbers of people who are lifting oil, who are bringing oil into Nigeria, and make it mandatory for all of them to have a tank farm where they can pour this oil and put a metering system there whereby you can gauge the amount of oil that are coming out.
All right. Thank you. You said all that. Let's hear from Tiger.
So again,
yeah.
Tiger.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Listen, my friend. Why you come late?
I'm busy. I'm at work.
Okay, I'll forgive you.
Yeah, forgive me.
Anyway, let me ask you. What do you want? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, go on. What do you want to ask me?
We can talk.
We can talk. We can start from this oil thing.
Go ahead. We don't have much time. Talk
I've
about that.
I've been listening for about 10 or 15 minutes when I did join in, and I think Baba T said something about supplying African countries with the oil. But Baba T, won't you forget that if you oversupply oil, then it will drive down the price. Then when it drives down the price, then the currency that the Nigerian government is looking for, which is the dollar, will go down because you're oversupplying. So price is always determined by demand. That's what makes price to go up or down. So that's that one. So we cannot supply African countries because they have nothing to offer us in return. It's not trade by barter. If it's trade by barter, we supply them something, then we get something in return which they can offer us. But those African countries, they have nothing alternative to offer us, so we cannot oversupply them. We can only supply international markets, which always determine the market. Regarding subsidy, I think subsidy is a fraud. Most people here on this panel have touched down on all these aspects whereby things are not done properly. So one question we should ask ourselves is this: if you are running a business and it's not working, you can't run the way we run business now is not the way we run business 20 years ago, 30 years ago. If you're using the same method to run current business in modern times, it will fail. So there are things, I think, what is his name again? The last speaker spoke about things. There are things to use. Which Falana did mention this. Not the only SDP guy that mentioned it. Falana, in one of his interviews, did mention it. And I believe the Nigerians people know how to solve problems, including the government.
What did Falana say? What did he say?
It talk about technology. For example, if they have this receipt they give them. If they lift oil, if they're bringing oil from abroad to Nigeria, they give them tracking and all these things, so you will know the quantity which they are bringing back. So all these things are it can be checked and verified. But the problem is this: I believe when we look at our personal lives, right? When we do have problem, sometimes we know how to solve it. But what happens is that we do not want to go about solving the problem because it might put us out of our comfort zone. And the same thing with Nigerians. The Nigerian government, they know what to do, but because there are people who are benefiting there and they don't want them to stop that benefit. So that's what's going on with this oil subsidy. Why is it that only Nigeria is having this problem?
Can I interject?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think that space you were on about Fallon, I did watch that. I think it was when they were having the Labour Party was having some event in Abuja, and then he spoke, and what he said was that apparently, I think 2015, they budgeted and paid for technology to do the tracking, but the government never implemented it. They've complained several times to the government, but they're not making any headway.
Can I reply, Tiger, please? Because he said something earlier. Tiger, I don't think you were here earlier when I was speaking about the West African market. I was speaking from the perspective of someone that grew up in a manufacturing town in Nigeria, and to kind of reply you directly, you said use the word oversupply. If they are smuggling oil from Nigeria into West African countries at a reduced price, that tells you there's already a supply, there's already a demand for it. So when I speak of supplying those African countries, is to cut up that smuggling chain where we supply them directly at a reduced rate. Now, I think you also missed the part where I said oil can be used as a bargaining tool to open up the West African market for Nigerian manufacturing. So I'm not sure if you saw the 1992 blueprint supply. We were supposed to be doing anything in the West African market. So what
isn't there already an integrated market in West Africa, by the way?
No. Not for their goods. For our own goods to move to their countries. Because let me give you an example now. Do you know how many borders you have to pass before you get to Togo or before you get to Kenya, before you get to those countries? So you use that oil, because every country needs oil as of now. So it's not really making money from the oil that I'm talking about. I'm talking about what it does to your local manufacturing.
Yeah, Babati.
Yeah. So the smuggling oil is already there. The demand is already there. Just meet that demand, but use it as a bargaining chip for your own local business to export to those countries.
Okay, Babati. In my response to that, all these people exporting illegally this oil is affecting the Nigerian market, which is the price, the level of the price, because they are taking more than what they should take outside of the country. So it's affecting the price. That's why most of the time there is a fuel scarcity in Nigeria, because why? It pays them to export it, to take it illegally outside where they can get a higher value in terms of price.
But that's the problem.
That's the problem.
But you said there was no. I think there's a demand for it.
But there's enough demand. There's enough demand.
That's my point.
Yeah. So if
illegal selling of the crude, of the petrol, that's the problem.
Nigeria belongs to Apex body, which is OPEC, and through that flow they determine the price. That's why US is having problem with Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia influenced OPEC to cut down the quantity of oil. So we can see then it drove price up. So, and Saudi said the time of cheap oil has gone. So they need to maintain that value, and Nigeria need foreign currency. I could understand if other West Africa countries, they have things to offer us in return, which I don't see. I don't see anything they can offer us in return.
No. Tiger, let me reply you once again. It's not what they have to give us. It's what let me tell you what happened in 92. If we have a big hub in Nigeria that is producing stuff, right? Manufacturing goods and services, there should be market for us to sell our goods to their country, not them coming the other way. So
I don't follow.
Okay.
What is your?
Let me give you an example. Back in 92, 93, we used to ship from Songota. There was a heavy demand for Nigerian paint, wood finishing, and mattresses. Mm-hmm. So every weekend, because I grew up in that environment.
But the problem is you are creating a market.
Just hold on.
Let me finish.
Babati, quick with your point so that we just be better rounding up.
There's a huge demand for it. So if I'm living in Nigeria now and I'm producing a good and services, and they say, okay, in Togo, for instance, or some Kenya country, there's a demand for that thing. My government will now use the bargaining chip example, oil, to bargain to say, if you get Nigerian goods and services in your country, we will give you this oil at a reduced price. It's a bargaining tool to get your people to produce more to export to those countries. There are demands for Nigerian goods in West Africa unknown to you, just to say. So
Babati, can I just say something quickly, please? Can I say?
Go ahead.
Okay, Babati, I would have agreed with your idea. If Nigeria is not a member of OPEC, that means they can produce as much quantity as they are and flood the market. But Nigeria being a member of the OPEC, they can't do that. So they can't do that. They can't produce more than their quota.
But we don't have enough production, guys. So I don't know why
we already overproducing.
Hold on. Come on, guys. Hold on.
They are smuggling.
Guys, hold on.
They are smuggling most of it now.
Babati,
all false figures now.
Babati, this is the third time you are speaking on this issue.
Okay, no problem.
Hey, I'm coming to you now. Then after you, I'll have to take a round, the last 2 minute round up because we're far into our time. Ed, Mr. Ed.
Sorry, Ovie, before
yes,
Ed,
sir.
Sorry, Ed, I beg your pardon. Just to acknowledge Jafar as well. You forgot to acknowledge Jafar, Ovie.
Jafar. Jafar and Ayo. But I really want to hear names from people who are listening, who are apart from people who are on screen, people who are used to. Is that too much? It's like random people who are just listening to from their office job. Okay, support us. We're coming every day because of you, actually. Anyway, Mr. Ed, are you there, or I should?
I'm here.
Good. I think I include this topic today because of you. This petroleum subsidy, because it came out from the video that you sent when you said you go watch about what the minister is saying about petroleum. Yeah, so the man is saying that to remove subsidy pretty much is a bad idea. That if you remove subsidy, petrol right now is going to go from 180 or is it 200 to 410. Now the question is that among these guys who are currently asking us to vote for them, who do you think has balls to? Or have not necessarily
it's not
the political know and the way to go about it to actually
but I don't think it's a matter of balls, I think it's a matter of it's a necessity. It has to go up anyway. Regardless of who comes in, that thing is going off.
Well, listen, everybody who before now has been saying it's going to take it up. Buhari
it's going to go up. It's going up because I think it's going to go up. So I think what I saw some things yesterday online. Apparently, I think the people in Nigeria, there's a lot of manufacturing going on. They're really making transition. They are producing manufacturing like electric, like this Marwa keke with a solar panel on the top. It's gone. People are buying it now already. I can send you the videos. People are already making transition.
Yeah, but see, what you don't understand is that those keke that you are seeing, those are just metropolis. Those are just small portion of Nigeria.
I know, but they also transition. I know, but it starts. You have to think about it. And so, what they are doing now, they are producing. I think also Innocent is doing something as well. I think non-motors. They are going to a lot of electric. Like those my work as well. Yeah, but also like the buses. The buses use diesel. Wait now, don't be so. The buses, you can look it up. I think the buses.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing
with
you.
But they are now changing. They are now converting the buses. Those BRT buses. The gas, tank. Also gas, but they are converted to I think to gas to liquefied. I think liquefied natural gas or something like that. So they are doing that. So there's a lot of things going on. To transition because once it hits, I think it has because there's no solution. But maybe what they'll do. Probably what you mean, they will have to phase it because if you hear what the guy was saying, there's a lot of corruption in the process. Like I said, they have to stop that first. So all the whole liters that they are paying for now, they are not able to control.
So that's where the question is: who can do that?
Any of it, if they have, it's a political will, guys. This is not. It's not rocket science.
That's the question I'm asking. Who has the political will to do it?
I think Obi is in the right. Maybe Obi and Kwankwaso have better chance to do it because I think what I'm afraid of about the other big parties is that there's a lot of entrenched interest
You know, because it's a so when you do political, like campaign like this, you have like a lot of stakeholders that will help you get to power. So, you make deals, promises, or you will become this minister. Imagine Ganduje, maybe Ganduje now, if he gives Kanu to Tinubu, right? Even with all the Tinubu best interests, in order for him to have at least, a reasonable, okay administration, it has to put maybe somebody like Ganduje, as a petroleum minister or whatever, if he start doing corruption or whatever, I don't know if Tinubu will have like the, you know what I mean, the chutzpah to stop it, for example, because, if for the second term, he may depend on him also, so he has a lot of, so that's the problem with this type of space, because they would need those stakeholders to help him, win the election, and then we have to then be, let's say, they will have to owe those stakeholders, So I think that's what the corruption is all about. That's why it's going, So if you have if people like Kwankwaso or Obi can get in without, using the so-called structure that they have right now, then they have like the free hand, because they don't owe anybody. The whole stakeholders, of course, but it's not the type of stakeholders that the other entrenched party has. That's how I would think about it. So they have maybe they will have more chance because they don't have a lot of those big, weak stakeholders, that keep the country completely hostage, with their shenanigans. So that's, but I think we'll have to come up. I'll try to send you the video. I was surprised as well. There's a lot going on in Nigeria, guys. To be honest with you, maybe we don't see it right now, but there's a lot of plant money. I just saw today that there's in Ogun State, there's a refinery. There's going to be built there within the next 2 years for like 100,000 capacity. So there's this. I was surprised. This assembly of like this Marwa keke that's being produced. It's already coming off the assembly lines. They're already talking about.
That's been for a minute though.
Yeah, it's been fun. I saw like some little guy doing something like that on Sweden. It's already on the city. They're already using it. Because you can imagine like if people are transitioning now to this. Because it's not very difficult to, you just like a lithium battery that you put like in those keke, whatever, put a little solar panel on top of it, and you are charging it. They go to some stations sometime, and you have what they also have. You have like some of these big companies that generate their own electricity. They cannot discharge them, so they can create like a charging base, and for those excess capacity that they have, they can use it to like load batteries. So they're all those things are all going on right now because everybody know that it's going to go off anytime soon. So,
all right, Mr. Ed, thank you for coming late, and Tiger, you'll come late, so we will be rounding up. And we'll do the usual now, Abby. Kwankwaso is the order of the day. Anyway, again, just like Black League is wondering why I have a show behind me. We are working on having him here tomorrow. So we are working on the time. So I think by this time tomorrow, we should be able to tell you exactly what time is going to be with us tomorrow. So let's watch out for that space. And Jafar and what's his name? Ayo has already started sponsoring that idea already. So people out there who are watching, fall in line. Anyway, 2 minutes, as we all know it. Let's start with Babati.
All right, thank you, Ovi. Good show. Just want to address Tiger again, but just away from the topic. So one thing is that Nigeria, its focus has to be for us to be a regional power, because you are better off being a regional power, because that gets you the seat at the table in the international community. You can't just go as Nigeria. You have to be a country that dominates the region. That gets you that respect. That gets you that opportunity to open up the market for your businessmen and women, to expand the market, to expand your good. That forces them to produce more. That means hiring more people. So I think we should focus on being a regional power first. That should be our focus before we talk about dealing with China or dealing with India or dealing with other countries. That will still be done on the side, but our major focus should be that people respect regional powers. People respect people that have that dominance in an area, in a space. And also, I've been reading up on many things in terms of Nigerians having too many restrictions in Africa for moving goods and services. We have the market, we have the people that can produce many things for African countries. And yes, Nigerian goods are still in demand in Africa. There are many things we produce that unfortunately we have too many red tapes. So if we can create like having business passports where you can move goods like across 4 or 5 countries, and we have tax incentives for those things. Once we can dominate West Africa and we own that space and expand beyond that, when we bargain with that kind of power with China, with America for some certain things, you're in a better position in those kind of deals. So that's what we need to focus on, just to address what Tiger is saying. So let's focus on being a regional power first. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man. Abati. Let's go to Rational Mind.
Yeah, okay, thanks. For me, there are 2 things I just want to say with this little minute you've given me. Subsidy, I think, it's a very difficult thing to remove. But do I want it to be removed? Of course, I want it to be removed. But if the corruption aspect can be tamed, then I don't think there's any need for us to remove it. Tame in the sense that we can employ those technology, like has been suggested by many people. I'm sure definitely we'll be able to tame it. We're able to cut it down to the very, very, very minimum. That's for that. I know there are other things to say, but then I want to address something real quick, and I hope one man is listening. Ajaleboko, I hope you're here. I want us to cease and desist from attacking ourselves here. The other day I was speaking here, and Kolata was throwing a question. I'm not the one running. I'm not the one running from president. We're here to speak to the people we speak to, which are the presidential candidates. We're here to scrutinize them, to talk about them, and we should be at liberty to speak as freely as we wish. But when people try to be smart, and I think Ajaleko quickly cautioned him, and he asked him that question was unfair. And I heard one man, he was quick as well to harp on what Kolata said, and he was repeating the question in a way and drawing some kind of conclusion. And some people were saying that, look, we're here on the international platform. People can hear us. And I said that, yeah, they can hear us. Well, we question people, and somebody's asking me that, do you pay tax? And he was framing the question just to make me look like, dude, look, we're not here to attack each other. If we're talking about people, let's just talk about those people without attacking ourselves and trying to frame the question to make it look like you are equally guilty of what you are talking about. I mean, we're not the one running for office. These candidates are the one running for office. We should be able to scrutinize them without attacking each other. So that question that Kulata asked me, that do I pay tax? And he was trying to use my business, which I mentioned that I do here, that I do, as a basis for asking that question, is rather unfair. And one man himself will be saying that, am I evading tax? Even though he said, oh, I'm just kidding. No, it is too, it's not something I expected. And I know Ajaleko said that question was unfair, and I think they should have gotten at that point and not harp on it. So one man, please do a better job next time, please. I know you're trying, you're doing your best. We all make mistakes, but please let us not always attack the person talking by trying to use certain things that looks like you're trying to make a point, and just to keep the person quiet, telling him to shut up. I mean, like, you're equally guilty of it. We're not the one running for office. These candidates are the one running for office. So we should be at liberty to be able to speak about them. Thank you, OVA. Thank you, everybody. And hopefully I will join you guys in the next session.
Hold on, Rational Mind. that's somewhat a bit unfair, you know, and I'm starting to notice somewhat this sort of approach, people coming at the platform. We push hard here, and we try not to personalize it. And if you felt it was personalized, then we have to take that on board. But we push hard here, and you cannot just come and present a narrative that is not interrogated, and that is not peculiar to you. That is peculiar to the space. So if you present a narrative, then of course, you being a long-standing member of this space, you know that that narrative is subject to a counter argument and an interrogation, and that is how it's likely to continue. So we try as much as we can, and I always take feedback, not to let it enter the personal space. But if you present a narrative, then be certain that if anybody has a contrary view, that will be facilitated for.
So what you just said now, what does that? How does that have to do with what I just said?
No, what you are trying to say was, or what I have understood, what you have said was that you presented a narrative about Tinubu being somewhat evasive with his taxation, and Kulata was saying to you that the broader understanding, Kulata was pushing back to say that people try not to pay as much tax as they can possibly get away with legally, and he cited you as an example, which I thought was in a jocular fashion, but if that caused offense, then that's fair enough. But for him to, no, that's not fair enough for it to cause offense, but we take that on board. But for him to present a counter narrative that people try to be as creative as they can around taxation is not something that is unique or peculiar, and it's a counter argument to you to say that Tinubu evading tax was a fraudulent act, which in itself might well be, but it is the space that probably most criminality is committed within that taxation space. So that was that conversational space. But a broader thing, and this not to you, but to the wider space, there's somewhat an overtly sensitivity coming out of the space in recent times, with people being somewhat feeling put upon by opinions or views contrary to theirs. So this is a very rapid space, as you know, with very witty people, and the tone of the platform is quite sharp and on edge. It's quite an edgy sort of place, and that is both the strength and the weakness of the space. But that is how the space is. There's always an element of an edge to this space. It's a very edgy space, very, very edgy. And I think I'm fair enough to say that. And if it is edgy, then there's always the possibility of a spillover, which I try to contain as much as I can. And I'm happy to be pulled back on it when that does happen. But yeah, I've just been noticing little snippets here and there of people trying to contain the edge of the space somewhat. And I'm a bit reticent to pull that edge back, because that is the uniqueness of the space.
You see, one man. Like I said, you are very good at using English words sometimes to describe things you want to make us to see. Yesterday here, I think I remember somebody asking you a question, a more personalized question. I wanted to bring it up there yesterday when the AAC guy asked you a question, a personal question.
Yes.
And you refused to answer that question because you said it's not me here that is running. You said it was your way running, something like that. I should have gone that route, but then the point is this: nobody likes to be put on the edge, put on that hedge, just like you said. And if I run this platform and I see that kind of a thing, that you ask somebody to divulge personal information, which I'm not. Because you yourself, you're even saying it. You the way you even said it the other very day, you said, "Are you evading tax, Rational? Are you like, well, what are we talking? Am I the one being scrutinized here? Or are we talking about Tinubu?" So the point I'm trying to make here is this: of course, yes, I understand it's a very fast-paced space. We always challenge your views, but then we should stop personalizing certain things that could be put somebody that will put somebody on the spotlight, and you kind of like make it like it's about the person. That's just my point. Because I'm not Tinubu. If I brought an issue up that Tinubu was evading tax, because that is what that paper shows, and that's the point I was making. Why would the collator have to bring me into the matter, trying to scrutinize my own personal life? I'm not the one running for president. It's Tinubu that's running for president. Same thing applies to any other person. So trying to bring me in, trying to like use me as an example of tax evasion, which I never did. I've never done in my life. I report my tax, and Adele Koko is here. He will bear me witness. He himself said it, that question is rather unfair. And he tries to, in his own wisdom, he tries to make it look like, okay, let's go off this topic because he pays local tax. But then you guys still went on, and then like, am I the one being scrutinized here? So that is how I felt. So I'm not saying it's something that was planned, but I'm just saying that sometimes we should know when to draw the line when somebody's personal. Somebody's being scrutinized, because I'm not the one being scrutinized here. We're scrutinizing Bola Tinubu or any other candidate. That's what my point is. Anyway you want to put it, you want to make it look like it's fast-paced, it's edgy, whatever. There are certain things we should not do. You yourself, you are refraining from people questioning you about your personal matters, which I'll give you an example of yesterday here when the guy asked you a question and you said, no, you're not going to answer that question. So, well, maybe I should have done better, because in hindsight, I look at that, I said, look, I should have not even answered that question. But the way I was just put on the spotlight made me just go on that defensive. So one man.
All right. Sorry. Apologies if you felt put upon, and yes, maybe that was that step too far. But it's a learning curve, as you know.
Of course, yeah, we're all learning. Yeah.
The one thing I do hope I do take is feedback, and then hopefully to make improvements from there. So it is really our platform, and how it is our platform is that we all work together to make it as best as we can. So you've highlighted that then. So the necessary adjustments will be made to correct it. So apologies.
Don't worry, man. It's okay. It's okay. Thanks a lot. All right. Thanks.
All right. Back to you, Ovie.
Anyway, I think there's only one way to stop this kind of conversation, is to make everybody pay for it. So instead of 2 minutes, now everybody get 1 minute. That guy in the city, go.
Don't make it 1 minute of you. I would say Rational Mind. I watched that discussion that day, and Rational Mind did well, and Jale Koko did well. So did Kolata. Rational Mind. They were trying to put you on the edge, like one man said. You should have said, "I'm not the one on the spot," and like you rightly said, we learn from that, because one man, he knows psychology a lot, and he knows how to put people on the spot. So that's a lesson for all of us. There's some question we say, we are not the one on the spot. So can we get someone from that party to answer that question? Yes. Okay. I just want to respond to Babati. Me and him keep going back and forth a bit, but I just want to touch down on that a bit. He's talking about Nigeria becoming a regional power. Yes, I do agree. Nigeria should be a regional power. So there are 5 or 6 regional power in Africa. In East Africa,
40 seconds.
Oh no, you can't. You can't. I've not even spent 10 seconds.
I took a lot of time, so maybe cut them some leeway. But Ovie, monitor the comment section. I think Black League and Jafar, they are plotting a jihad against the platform because there's some Hausa language going on there. So monitor it closely. You understand their language. They're plotting jihad in Hausa language.
Okay.
Okay. Then in North Africa is Egypt. In South Africa, in East Africa is Kenya. In West Africa is Ghana and Nigeria. And before you can become a regional player, your economy must be buoyant. Your economy must be running at a full scale and be good as well. So then you can give monetary assistance to other country, trade, innovation, investment. Then you have to become a military force in that region. So, but one thing Nigerian government have failed to do this, they are not investing in other country. they could do proper investment in some country, buy up some stock shares or investment. It's called sovereign fund or sovereign funding. Then later on cash in and sell it and bring back the money to Nigeria. That's that one. What I find out about petroleum subsidies is that it's not even someone did mention, I think Ed said he did talk about the governor maybe making Tinubu win the election. Then if he's involved in this kind of oil scandal, then the government might leave him to do that. But no, the problem is the business cabal people who are rich. They can give a political party 30 billion naira. So when they make these donations to political parties, when they come in and do investigation and find out they were one of the people running all this oil racketeering, they're not gonna stop them because they've donated huge amount of money to them. So I believe I did watch P2B oil thing, subsidy, but to be honest, I have not listened to any other political party. But I do believe all of them, they can solve this problem. It's not too difficult. They know, but because the power at play and people who are benefiting, they won't do much because they are the donors, not necessarily the governors or the senators. Those are the people who don't even get to hear about. They are donating huge sums of money. So in that aspect, they need to do something about it. Otherwise, it's going to collapse Nigerian economy because the government is paying huge sums of money into that I'll call it bad investment. And when one is doing bad investment, what do? You have to review the whole thing. So any government that is coming in needs to review it and apply what other countries are doing in order to resolve this kind of situation. That's my intake.
Thank you, Tiger in the City. Mr. Ed, are you there? Mr. Ed is not there.
Yeah, I'm here, sir. Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you got 2 minutes.
Okay, 1 minute. No, I'll make it short. No, no. So what I would say, I think, thank you guys a lot, for keeping this, show going on and having these conversations. I do agree with, I think, I know it was Irrational Mind that said that I think when you come to this space, we should try as much as possible not to make it personal and just speak to, because as he said, none of us are the candidate, so sometimes we get at each other to see if we have the answers to the questions, right, that the candidate should answer. We don't represent them. What we can do is look at their manifesto, what they say, try to analyze their moves as well. So that's why I try to send you guys some stuff, just to at least get information. If you have information, that will kind of allow you to make better assessments. And that's all it is. So, and the second thing I will also say as well is, I think for one man, I think when he throws out, I just ask, I think when he throws out, some these videos about, claims and stuff like that, if he will allow other people, if you have like a counter claim, to present it for him, so he can also show it. I'm saying, so I think it's okay, and if you show something and there's additional facts that it's good to come on the show to also clarify. Say, hey, I have additional facts. Let's analyze it and see whether or not if that fact share more light into the initial information that he presented. So.
We do facilitate for that, Mr.
Yeah, but I have sent you a couple of stuff. That we never presented it.
I don't know where you've been sending it to because
to your Instagram.
Everybody that sends me stuff, they get highlighted. Ajale Koko sends me stuff, African bread, everything.
Okay. Maybe because it's coming from me, because I'm not, like regular.
Look at this guy. So, look at this guy. Why would you say that?
I don't know, but because I did tell you, right? So that I did send you a couple of stuff, but. Never presented it.
Are you happy to tell me your handle on Instagram, or just send me something so your name comes up again?
Yeah, I will send you something if you want. I don't know if maybe we get a lot of stuff, whatever. Since Ajali Koko is like a member, it's also very regular. Ajali Koko, if you put your handle on the comment section as well, I will send you some stuff. If you have time, then you can present. I think it's based on the 250 million for OB. I did have something on
the
that.
250 million that Obi stole from
Exactly that one. Exactly. So right. they have information that clarifies, what happened.
But Mr. Ed, you'll be surprised that somebody actually came and presented a counter narrative to that, and it brought about, I think it was Emmanuel, it brought about 3 articles, when we read all of them in total, and all of them we found them wanting.
No, it's not. It's not.
Do you remember that, Ovie, when Emmanuel brought?
I would. No, I don't know what Emmanuel is saying, but I have the one. This is the same thing from. It's from. Was it from Vanguard as well? It's from Vanguard. It's the same. The same source.
All right.
The same source. It's very credible. It's Vanguard. So I would, because I did send it to you, but you never. If you, because I think you had it, but.
Yeah. All right, resend it now, because a lot of stuff. In fact, some of the stuff that come via Instagram.
Yeah, but the whole idea, one man, it's not to have a fight about this and that. It's just to have like a full picture. We can make an assessment and say, okay, hey, having that information, what do we think now? Is it credible information? Is it not credible information? Just to make sure we are presenting the truth, because we may present one aspect of a fact, but we may not have the whole sum. So what normally happens, because when we pick out this information from newspapers, you saw like Afenifere endorsed, Tinubu, for example, right? It's on a newspaper, but if you only look at that part, like 10 years, maybe 5 years later, you only see, Afenifere endorsed Obi. But if you look at another paper, you may see the whole story may turn, because there's it's a flowing. As more information comes out and more discussions are had, new papers also put new stories, on the paper for a different date, So if you pick out one article on the paper on one certain day, that may be a narrative for that one day that's coming from one source, you know what I mean? But there may be other counter sources, from the same newspaper, So that's what I mean, So it's like be more balanced, I mean, for all of them.
Please don't say that. We try to be as balanced as we can. So I'm not quite sure what you mean by being more balanced.
So I would take you on that, and then I think that's at that corruption space. I think that's a really good space. So there's nothing wrong with Look, we say we are all criminals, But if we have allegations, let's dive into it, explore it, look at the total information.
Okay, let's do it this way. You send what you have in now.
Yeah.
Then in the latter session, I'll make it one of the spaces that we explore.
Okay.
Sure, all right.
Sure, we'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's go on to Ajan Lekoko, because we're now
yeah. Hey, thanks, guys, and good night.
All right. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let me first of all thank Rational Mind for expressing his dissatisfaction at the way that the platform put him on the spot the other day on the issue of tax evasion. You see, that is very good that he expresses dissatisfaction. It's meant for us, to prevent such incident in the future, and make sure that it doesn't. We don't put any one of us here on the spot, but rather put the issue on the spot, and those corrupt politicians that are surrounded with this issue. Those are the people we should put on the spot, and not any one of us here that is questioning their corrupt, activities. So, and I like the way the one man handled it, the way he responded to Rational Mind. That is noted, and we try as much as possible to prevent the reoccurrence of such incident. And I'm really satisfied with that. So, other than that, let me say this: that when the Soludo statement that they will tackle Obi in Enugu and they will not vote for him, I hope that the obedient will not go after that guy, because most of the obedient are supporting him as well. They like him. The name they have for him, the name they call him Soludo Solution. Soludo Solution. So I hope they're not going to change that name to Soludo Awusa, as they usually call, what's the name of the other guy from Imo State? That,
Zodima.
no, the other governor, the former governor.
Is it Yadia?
No, the other one, the one
Okorocha.
before he had the Okorocha, they call him Okorocha Awusa, or what do they call it? So I hope they will not target him. They will not start to label him as a traitor. What they should understand is that it's APGA that took Soludo to power, and not LP, and not Obi. Obi actually worked against Soludo hard. Obi sponsored a candidate from PDP, and he worked with that candidate. He campaigned with him against Soludo. So it is the party that won the election, and every member of the party have to work for the interests and the candidacy of their party. So APGA have a candidate in the presidential race. Soludo have to work hard to make sure that that man, it must work hard to make sure that he deliver Anambra State to the candidate of their party. Is the governor of that state, and he should be able to use his political capital and everything that he has to show to Nigeria that APGA is a party to reckon with. If he win that state for APGA, he'll be able to position that Igbo People's Party to Nigerians to start looking at them and start accepting that party as well. So because that party represents the interests of Igbo, every governor that have served there, they've served well, including Peter Obi when he was there, he served well, and they are referring to the performance the performance of Obi there as a role model. They are referring to it as a role model to other Nigerians that yes, we can do it. If you can do it in Anambra State under the platform of APGA, it would be able to do it in Nigeria as well. So Soludo have a job to do. You have to deliver that state. You have to show to Nigerians that yes, APGA is here, and APGA is there to stay. It doesn't matter whoever is on the is on presidential race, whether from Igbo land or not. His candidate is from Igbo land too. The candidate on APGA party is an Igbo man. So you guys, obedient, should not go after Soludo. It's just fighting and working for the interests of the party, as you guys want to work for your interests. Don't label him. Don't call him names. Just leave him alone to do the work, good work for his party. So other than that, thank you, Ovie, for the good job. One man, we shall join you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajani Koko. Yeah, thank you everyone that come around listening to us right now. Thank you for staying with us from the beginning to the end. And if you join halfway, that's fine too. Thank you. If you come towards the end, you miss a lot. I will tell you that. And to Hayo Jafar, thank you for staying true to the game. I mean, it would be nice to hear other names, taking advantage of that coffee section rather than just the usual. That being said, thank you. Yes, I've been talking about subsidy. Everybody said remove subsidy. Removing the subsidy is beyond the fuel price going up. Fuel price goes up, we trigger every other aspect of the economy, every other aspect of life. We have to adjust, so everything goes up. And before you know, with this kind the way with the attachment we have to our political party candidates, beliefs, and all that, guess what? Once everything goes up, everybody is confused, everybody begin complain. The opponent, the political opponent of that, whoever comes into power, the opposition will go into action. They will go right with the people and start instigating people, which is very easy to do, to work against that government and take them out. I mean, you know, say anybody want lose election. They want to keep, you know, you come in the first time, you want to win the second time. So that's where the problem really is. It's not actually the benefit, the cost effects. How long are we going to actually endure with those high price and everything that comes with it? Can we bear it for how long? So the longer it goes, the more other people take advantage of it. So it's a very, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's just beyond that price of fuel. Anyway, that being said, Wama will be on in the next 2 hours, 30 minutes, I guess. Yes, to be precise, 2 hours, 25 minutes. We'll be talking about how Bola Tinubu has collapsed the structure for Konkoso. Yeah, I said that right. Anyway, if you think I'm lying, come back in the next 2 hours and we'll see if I'm lying or I'm saying the truth. Tinubu collapses the structure for Konkoso. Anyway, stay true and stay free. As always, on our politics. Ciao.
Hello, my country people. Let us join Papa Tinubu to rock this latest dance wey in the dance. Abemina corner, me will call dance with Oga Tinubu.